a few words, but he's it's awesome to see how well he has settled in to this roster so far. So a very, I guess, well-earned victory. Direwolves just with a little bit of extra work to do.
Yeah, and they're not out of it, remember, as well. They do just get knocked down into that lower bracket where they'll try to run out the gauntlet and still accumulate some points toward their tally to try and get toward that slot and go overseas for those NA last chance quals. But for right now, the next focus is what we're going to deep dive in towards. Is going to be straight out of the zoo to take on Team Bliss, formerly known as Fun Crew.
Exactly. So yeah, 2 slots obviously in the 2 lots of closed qualifiers to actually get into the main event, I guess you would say, for stage 2. But that's the one we've got right now, straight out of the zoo versus Bliss. 2 great rosters. Obviously, they've been a really, really exciting bunch of teams to watch straight out of the zoo. I guess the main factor is in the sense that they didn't even expect themselves to be a team, but they're still here. They're still powering through, looking really, really good. They've got great personalities behind them. And look, same could be said for Bliss. As soon as they got picked up by that roster, they've been doing photo shoots and shout outs and all this extra stuff. It's so awesome to see. I love it.
Yeah, no, 100%. Always putting up on the socials and not just building yourself in toward the game. You got to explore yourself and you got to expand yourself to try to, I guess, show that you've got more interest than just trying to be narrow focused in toward the game. But we start to deep dive, as I said, in toward the game, and we look at who's actually going to be playing in the server today.
Straight out of the zoo. That'll be the first team that we see. I love that photo from Punda. It's so, so funny. But across the board, Yifeng, Punda, Mike, Nice Hacks, and Duddy Boy. Likely seeing Duddy Boy on those smokes. It surely would be Nice Hacks on the jet from memory. Mike sort of flexing around the jewelers, sometimes seeing the Sage. And yeah, look, across the board, Yifeng, he's the main one that we've sort of been seeing a lot from. Very, very consistent sort of on what Sova Killjoy that you do see coming out.
Yeah, no, 100% on that. It's going to be interesting when they do look to tackle over towards Bliss here as well. But, straight out of the zoo, they definitely... It's not like they're out with it without a chance, right? They're definitely going to give us a good game, we would hope, and we would come to expect. But here are the lovely faces on Bliss, as they do have some great photos, and repping their team logos and their team gear as well is always a great thing. But Easy, Precious, Major, Ronsky, and Jungle Wow is what makes up Team Bliss here.
So Ronsky, also known as Captain Levi, coming on through into this one. The man is a weapon on that jet. And then, yeah, look, I've been looking towards Major. He's been sort of super consistent. But also, same could be said, Jungle Wow, a lot of sort of more flexing around the Viper and the Astra. Easy, also man of the on a mission, and Flesh is the same thing, And I think it's is it Easy or is it Flesh that's come from the FIFA background as well? So, such a broad... Fleshes, that's the one. So, yeah, such a broad background in this team of Bliss. They've been super exciting to watch, and as I mentioned, putting themselves up on the socials. So hoping to see Ronsky slot in nicely, but this team has a big statement to make in this competition. They didn't exactly get all that they wanted in the previous run.
It feels like to me as well that you're starting to turn into a little bit of an anime prospect with that reference just before.
Weebs out.
Heard it yesterday as well over on the other lands, but no, it's all fine. It's all good. Bliss, straight out of the zoo, is where we are going to go over towards in this one. And before we get any rumblings in towards seeing the maps, did you want to put a prediction on it?
Yeah, look, I think... pressure would start to really amount onto Bliss. I think straight out of the zoo, they're a team that would be very, very scary to come up against in a best of one. You never know what could really happen, but I suppose as they do sort of, come to consistency a little bit more, that may change. But yeah, Bliss, they're the ones that really need to see themselves. If they go out of this one with a failure, that might be a little bit upsetting for them, especially given, the new org, the new setup and everything that does sort of happen. So I'm hoping that the team does really find their way forward. But before the game, we actually did manage to catch up with Yifeng. So let's get some words straight out of the zoo.
My name's Yifeng. That's actually my real name as well, my legal name. Personally, I'm a bit iffy. I feel like Team Bliss are a very strong team, and they have the potential to potentially just be one of the best teams in the entire region if they put enough work. Last time we faced them in the bronze match in the last playoffs, we beat them.
Your victors for this best of 3 is straight out of the zoo.
We haven't had much practice, or we haven't had any practice in that case. Meanwhile, I know they've been going really hard. They've been trying new things, so we don't know if we can do that again. But obviously, the team's feeling pretty confident. They're like, hey, we beat them again. Surely we can do it again. Can't enter with the loser's mindset. I'm just looking forward to playing against them again, seeing what they got in store for us this time.
Nice little swing from Daddy Boy, Punda.
We're a pug team, we call it, which means we just play as if it's ranked. We have never played. We scrimmed once in our entire lives. It was against a wild card one night, and they were just trolling falling. The way this team works, we have no practice, nothing, literally nothing. The only times we ever get together and play is for the tournaments in themselves, the official games. Every new game is a bit of a practice for us in a way. Teams underestimate us. They know we don't put in practice. We're not the players that people go into a rank and be like, oh, it's that guy, and everyone's all of a sudden scared, some rank lord. So it all started when Panda and Nice Hacks made a Twitter post about like 1 day before signups closed. They're like, oh, looking for 3 guys to come click heads. We're gonna do no practice, just go in and have fun, lose in the first round. And I'm like, oh yeah, sounds like fun. I don't mind going in for 1 day 20-minute adventure in and out, you know. And then next thing you know, we're here. Obviously though, I do still think that the game is in their favor, if I'm going to be honest. We just need to force them to play in a style where they have to forget everything about their team play and just, you know, fight us with the head-on aggression, the rules, the 1v1s, and win those. That is our way to beat them.
Man, well spoken. Absolutely adore him. Everything that was said makes me, you know, just super warm inside. But now, look, Yifeng, great guy in and out of the server as we do know it. And it's nice to see that, you know, a quote unquote, as we meme about all this time, a pug team can actually have some success. It doesn't always mean that it's a bad thing. It means it's just a bunch of guys that get along inside the server and they're able to find their way into the top 8 in the region. You know, that should be a sign to all these new and aspiring players that putting in 10,000 hours into ranked and tweeting your Radiant scoreboard may not be the thing. Get into a competition and do it there.
Yeah, it's also funny that they they bring up in that little interview the Twitter post, because I remember seeing that way back when from Fonda coming out. And I thought it was a little bit funny, but then you see it coming through from these guys and the damage that they're kind of doing. And I also like that he touches upon the style of play that they want to try and force Bliss's hand in towards in this next matchup, to get them to throw the strat book out of the window and take those duels where, you know, we know how sharp Straight Out of the Zoo are on those duels. We also know how sharp Bliss are, but Straight Out of the Zoo feeling like they can take them in that aim department is going to be really interesting when it does come into the map pool here. And I mean, looking toward the maps, I know for Team Bliss, probably want to tending it over towards Binds, because that is where their strongest win rate is, and they've got it.
There it is. Okay, look, that works out for them, of course. You know, Bind is a very, very challenging map to not be as structured on. You know, obviously, you've got to have some sort of tact to at least find your way through, especially, you know, challenging that B-site control. That's a big factor, you know. Otherwise, it just ends up being the usual. Okay, we push up short, try to take U-Haul control, something like that. But look, Straight Out of the Zoo, again, you know, despite not being a well-practiced team, they clearly know what they're doing. They spend a lot of time in rank. They do put in the extra hours, you know, again, like watching, obviously, Yifeng that we just heard from earlier on that server, he definitely knows what he's doing. So that might actually, you know, catch the side of Bliss off guard. They sort of, you know, when you're watching a really well-structured team put in the hours and try and work out, like, you know, versing teams on how they should play, and then it doesn't sort of work out the way that they want. So sometimes, again, a pug team can actually, you know, really strike onto a team like Bliss. But we'll find that out in the server shortly. Game's not ready just yet, but, you know, we'll get there soon.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see if we're going to have any shakeups on the agent deployment for these guys as well. And I guess a little bit of, you know, what the tendencies and the structure they might want to throw out in, because we know that Straight Out of the Zoo, you know, whilst they say they are the pug team and everything, there's still strategies that we are going to see them, you know, try tend towards and try lean in towards on this map, you know, force the hand of some peaks out towards Long of B or in towards Showers as well, you know, try to really draw Bliss in towards their crosshairs and everything and take those aim duels. So it will come down to those sort of micro little management positions on those agent lineups. And that's one of the things that I really love about Valorant, right? It's the combinations between different agents that lead in to some really unique situations that you have to be ready for.
Yeah, no, exactly. And that's sort of what excites me. You know, what are we going to be seeing coming out? The current meta of Valorant so far is very, very different. We're seeing much more consistency on that Astra. We're seeing Viper come out in a lot more maps. Obviously, she got a crazy buff with the fact that the decay inside the Poison Cloud and also the Viper's Pit takes you down to 50 points of HP immediately. You can do so much work in amongst that utility. So we still sort of yet to see, I guess, Yoru come into it. But, you know, Sky's much more prevalent. Astra basically 100%, you know, almost on most of these maps. So do you think we're going to be seeing that come out from especially Straight Out of the Zoo? Bliss, surely we will. But yeah, Straight Out of the Zoo is the one I'm more interested in.
Look, maybe they look to adopt a little bit of a different agent style going into it. If we're looking at them where they don't really put too much prac in towards it and everything and sort of see how they feel going in toward the game, I would sort of say that just rest on to what's tried and tested in their ranking system. You know, we do get a little bit of the different agent deployments for these guys. Specifically, you know, if you're in our region and you go into ranked, if you ever come up against Yifeng, he's pretty much insta-locking over towards that jet. Come in towards this, he might not be on that jet again. So we'll have to wait and see on that regard. But, you know, in terms of the Viper and Astra, they could surprise us with it. I kind of wouldn't kind of hope to see it from them, though. As I said, go back to what they're experienced in. But on the flip side for Bliss, you know, that Sky pick could come out on towards this one here. They tend to bring it over towards Haven instead of Bind, but I would kind of like it, not going to lie.
Well, I've just been told that we are going into the agent selection, guys, now, so that means we're not too far away at all. But yeah, man, I think my focus tonight is going to be on Ronski. You know, he's a player that is obviously super, you know, new to the roster, I suppose, of Bliss. He was picked up in a part of once they did get signed onto that at org, and we know he's super sharp. We know he's got the capacity to be there, but maybe some consistency issues sort of might be finding him. So I do hope this Bliss roster does start to settle a little bit more, because they've got fantastic potential. As Yifeng even said, you know, they could be the best team in the region if they put the work in.
Yeah, well, of course, getting in toward the agent selection now, Mitch, does mean we are just around the corner from getting in toward the matchup. We do go over towards Bind. Probably going to be seeing that Astra pickup come out for the side of Bliss. I personally would lean in toward the Brimstone. I really do love that, you know. But while we've got a little bit of the seconds, to touch upon your Yoru factor as well. Actually, we actually see Yoru be picked in the Korea region by a couple of teams at the moment, which is very, very interesting. You know, the meta over there is just completely different to what we see over towards here. You look over towards the Sky, which is kind of being adopted a little bit now as well. You know, Roy or Stronglegs over in the Renegades, he's been one of the people that has picked it profoundly, just time and time again, never really just steered away from it. So it is on to teams to, again, develop their own meta and their own style, and not just follow in pursuit of others.
Yeah, that's going to be the thing as well. You know, obviously, as more and more agents come into the fold inside the game, you know, maybe it's going to be similar to Riot's other premier title in League of Legends, in the fact that we may actually see those picks and bans. So will the one-trick ponies start to get thrown off? But it's not going to matter right now, guys, because we are rolling in onto Bind. It is going to be map number 2 of the evening. Of course, a best of 1 that we have been seeing throughout the night so far. Of course, it started off with Order, besting the Direwolves 13-4 on Split. But now, straight out of the zoo, rocking and rolling in against Team Bliss. Bliss with a lot to prove, and they get into it on Bind. Do the Pug Boys have what it takes to take them down in this best of 1?
Well, let's wait and see. Of course, we don't know who's starting on which side just yet. And there you do have it. Straight out of the zoo on that defensive side, and Bliss on the attackers side. They are going to be deploying in amongst the Reyna on Ronski instead of, you know, what you might come to see as the Jet. You got Jungle Wow on that Astra instead of the old fabled Brimstone on that line of sight. But the flip side, I mean, for Straight Out of the Zoo, as I said, do what they know, do what they experienced with, and they've exactly done that. A very straightforward agent deployment from them.
Yep, exactly. So cool to see the Reyna. Obviously, the Ray is relatively stock standard on a map like this, likely looking to take control of Hookah. And then the Astra as well. So Major on his famed Ray is already going to be taking that early control of U-Haul with the Frenzy. So going to be right there around the corner. The Owl drone to get the information, and that's a great starting point for Major. Yifeng and Duddy Boy, they go down.
And now the player advantage for Bliss. They're going to try and solidify in toward the plan. It's actually going to be going over towards the defender spawn, as well as they do look to push proficiently and try to gather a bunch of this information. Mike, though, here's the TP, and is going to choose to just run away from it. Cages to be utilized a little bit later on as well, because it's his teammates, you know, going through that TP. I thought that they might want to go all together in towards Hookah, but let's make a little bit of sense that he does translate over towards the other side to have a different point of entry in toward the site. However, as Mike finds one, they just see goodbye to Punda and nice hacks. Good right click to come on out. Change over towards the Ghost. Do have Astra very low in this corner. Cleared through, but Jungle out. Right clicks out and takes the final frag.
Very nicely done. You love to see it. Managing to get the job done. So unfortunately for Mike, it was a valiant effort to try and get back into this. But Dion, I've got something special for you as well as we move on into the second round. That's a cheeky little... Oh, thank you to my housemate as usual.
Keep the beverages up. Keep the water flowing. Keep hydrated. Stay hydrated. That's the one.
So the orb secured nice and early. It's easy trying to destroy a potential camera. Maybe that's what he's looking for. Firing off a couple of warning shots. The boom bot ready to clear out of the end of showers. So straight out of the zoo, not really playing too different right now. Playing 4 heavy over towards the A position right now. NiceAxe does have the Sheriff available. So they have made a gentle investment into this one. And just leaving Yifeng to wait over towards that B site. But they are heading their way back, so they'll take the time.
Yeah, no big control to be seen from straight out of the zoo over at B long, and it's going to be free reign for Bliss as all these stars go down. Major is going to shoot through them as well. Keep straight out of the zoo interested around this A side as the entry goes in towards B. Yifeng does meet death. Now the R drone to clear everything out, coupled with a Leah to clear all of the corners as well. It should be some good taking of the site from Bliss. However, in the time, straight out of the zoo, have all rotated over.
30 seconds left.
Heading all the way up. Very aggressive on that Reyna, which you don't blame him at all. Those paint shells are going to do some sincere damage, but Major might have a little bit of a warning if he does get a bit too aggressive. Does miss a couple of shots, but luckily Ronski is there to find the frag, recovering the Sheriff as well. So pretty clean second round secured by Bliss. They only lose the one member of Fueshis there. And they'll be heading into this one with the bonus. Vandal still in the hands of Ronski, of course. Looks like they're trying to do a little bit of juggling with some weaponry. Maybe only just the Ghost for Jungle Wow as well, which could prove to be challenging. Yifeng's had to drop down to the Guardian, though. The rest of the members will have Vandals, and they're ready to go into this bonus.
Ready to go into all the bonus and see what they are going to be able to do. Put some punishment down on towards straight out of the zoo as the immediate clearing is over towards the showers. Major just sits them down absolutely. So that is pretty much the A site now in the free reign of Bliss. You do have NiceAxe into what you hold. It does get tagged on out as well. That was a very quick showstopper deployment actually, but now going to look to hunt him on down. Easy getting out of shock dart as well. Will take NiceAxe out. And now it's 2 versus 5. Very favorable situation for Bliss. Make it a 1 versus 5 on Yifeng, and he's good for 1, but Major absolutely dominating in that round.
Very, very nice release from the showers. The man is clean and heads out and finds 2. And that's the craziest thing, right? You know, seeing only a Spectre managing to drop 2 members as they did sort of stack on top of themselves with the Vandals available. It's going to just be the investment into the Sheriffs, a few light shields to go around it. But yeah, look, Bliss, they've started off clean. They are on the attacking side of buy and can be a little bit more challenging. There's plenty of work that they can continue to do over the coming rounds.
Now that's going to be the bonus as well, Mitch. Taken out by Bliss, so it does take a little bit of a hit on the side of straight out of the zoo. Gravity well and the smoke already gone in toward the showers. I think it would have been the dissipate smoke to actually come out there from the Astra. So we'll have to wait and see what they're going to be able to do as they stretch their legs and arms over towards this B site. Mike is going to be in amongst the U-hole. He does manage to get some bullets out of the Sheriff, though. They all do miss.
Oh, no.
Major takes him out.
A little bit rough there, but Ronski already out on that site. Looking good on the Reyna right now. Second frag found on the Yifeng as well. The wall bang into the rotator. And Duddy Boy doesn't manage to get the paranoia out. Major goes for the spray, but that's a great swing in from Duddy. Very, very sharp. The gravity well is going to be a little bit of a menace, though, towards him. Under. Does manage to find a recovery shot, though. A little bit of extra success, but it's on to Ronski now. Continuing forward with 3 on that aggressive Reyna. Does go for another. Overstays his welcome a little bit now. Looking to clear his way out of Hookah. Not going to spot Jungle Wow just yet. Does jump onto the position, fakes the leap out, does use the Shrouded Step, but Jungle Wow's ready. Immediately finds the frag. A few members go down, a little bit more than Bliss would have liked, but it's not going to matter. They get 4.
It's always one of those sticky scenarios, isn't it? Do you use your utility when you're in a 1 versus X scenario because you don't know where your opponents are, especially on the Omen. You can't really clear out any of the corners. If you were a Sober, you could chuck out the Recon Dart. If you were a Sky, you could get out a Trailblazer and stuff, right? But unfortunately enough there for Duddy Boy, he tries to Shroud Step, does get eliminated in the end. Bliss on those entries as well, absolutely stellar. Ronski certainly getting deep in toward the site to pick up where needed. Ultimate department now, getting very close to a lot of them on straight of the zoo, but the biggest thing for them right now, Mitch, is that they do have purchase to utilize.
Immediate use of the gravity well there. Yifeng is going to cop a lot of damage from that shock dart from Old mate there. In easy, sitting towards long, gets the drone up, tries to find some additional information. Major now looking to clear out Hookah. They've done this very successfully so far. Rotate will be sent around from straight out of the zoo. It's going to be Nice Hacks joining them. Yet to pick up that operator as of yet, from what I can see. Still some time. Yifeng marks one. But still a 5-on-5 as it stands. Jungle wide open.
Jungle wide open on towards Yifeng. Information and the Hunter's Fury no longer utilizable. And Major does get in amongst the elbow position. Manages to find one. Mike falls as well. This is just really clean, clinical, decisive blows that Bliss are executing. Duddy on a punter to see if he can do anything. Gets his head taken off by Fwetches. And Duddy Boy on the flank will manage to catch Major. But a 1 versus 5 is going to have to be a very, very big retake here. More shots out and can't unfortunately get any of them. So 4 alive for Bliss, really patting on that econ. And 5 rounds unanswered on this attacker's side as well.
Yeah, they're looking pretty good. Looking pretty good as it stands from Bliss. Very unscathed and just super confident. You know, Major, the fact that he was able to satchel charge all the way over into the Nebula in CT and then head around elbow completely undetected. Very nicely done. So he's starting off charging 10-3. But it's going to be actually a tactical timeout from straight out of the zoo. Not something you'd expect from a Pug team, but they're going to have a little bit of a discussion, work out exactly how they need to reapproach this one. They've got all the ultimates available, Dion, but they need to put them to good use.
No, 100%. They really need to make sure they're getting everything in order in this game right now and just make sure that they can get on toward this board. It's going to be really interesting for me if we're going to see Yifeng use that Hunter's Fury off the get-go for them to get some aggression in towards, you know, one of the areas, or if it's just going to be one of those default plays where he'll look to put a recon bolt outside toward the fountain for his team to push up as well. There's so many different strategies that you can deploy early on with these agents, and that's one of the best things that I really like about Valorant. And then it's also going to just come down to the counter plays. Easy lining up the shock dart here to catch any damage to anyone getting out on toward that ult orb, where if you're straight out of the zoo, you don't need to in this round, right? You've got those 5 ults, so they are just going to be looking to get the pressure over towards long themselves known.
Watch this. Scanning ahead.
Information contested between the two. Duddy Boy does actually throw a little bit of a warning peek. Looks like Nice Hacks does have the Blade Storm available though, so they are ready to at least try and contest this one again. But pretty wise from Bliss. They've actually played this a very, very passive start. Waiting to see if any early aggression will come out. But they seem to be respecting straight out of the zoo, which is exactly what you want to see in a server like this, in a match where they are looking basically dominant right now. They're moving up all towards sort of max cash. Very happy to keep consistent. But still, look, plenty of this game to go on, Dion.
No, 100%. No casualties seen just yet as Pundo is getting very, very close towards Bronski. The boom butt does go through and allow for the Devourer at the end of it to get that HP that do be lost. Shock darts go towards Major's location as well as the Hunter's Fury, but they are looking to get it on through. That's the Hunter's Fury of Easy that is going out. I don't think it's found any damage, but he does get decimated in the end by the Blade of Nice Hacks. This is such a confusing round as everyone is everywhere. They're walking towards Mike's crosshairs for a player advantage on straight out of the zoo, though the spike does go down for Bliss. Empress has been popped from Ronski, and Nice Hacks now does manage to at least survive. Ronski's down. Jungle Well 1 versus 3 manages to 1 versus 1 it. Can he clutch it though? He finds damage, but it's Mike to get it in the end for the 4K as straight out of the zoo get their first round on the board.
Those are the rounds you live for though, right, Dion? You know, some excitement, some chaos. I don't even think some of the players knew what was going on in that one, but apparently the tactical pause for straight into the zoo was exactly what they needed. It was the individual performance of Mike on that Cypher to step up to the plate and knock one out of the park for the team. 4K, love to see it. And now Bliss, they at least find a contest coming towards them. 4 rounds the difference, but it's Valorant. Anything can happen in a very, very quick turn of events.
No, that is exactly correct on that statement there. Anything can happen very, very quickly. Mike kind of a little bit lucky, I guess, that the second player does walk in towards his crosshairs, because otherwise it could have been a completely different scenario. Nevertheless, though, it is set in stone that straight out of the zoo do get their first round on the board. The recon bolt now goes out towards Fountain, gets destroyed. This boom bot will likely also be destroyed. Gets a bit of info as they do hear that 2 players shot towards it. It's going to be Major to dispatch of both of them. Hunter's Fury also missing the mark, unfortunately, but Yifeng finds one. He gets traded on out, and Bliss, they have B.
I know exactly.
Absolute Chad right there, Major, to just go full confidence all the way up. He is still alive, and that is going to be the paint shells making it a little bit awkward. Major spraying on through with that Phantom. What does Mike even do here? He managed to... Ooh, okay, that's a good start. Did get a 4K in the previous. Would be looking for back-to-back right now. He's checking the flank. Nobody home. Cool thing is we will likely see Mike actually contest this one. No saving here today. Just going to go for it. Full confidence. See if he can make something happen through the other side of this nebula. Everyone is sitting over towards that long position inside the garden. It is green. And Mike firing a couple of warning shots. Nothing connecting though just yet. Only got 6 bullets as well beyond the lead up. And Ronski with the swing. Very nicely done.
Very nicely done in the end. You could see the attempted play to come through from straight out of the zoo around the garden containment as well, but it doesn't really just work out for them in the end. Major kind of holding W and spraying out with the Phantom there. Does manage to catch the 2 frags, brings out the rocket, which doesn't do anything in the end as Yifang's kill was stolen away from him. But regardless, Major does end up with a 3K in the end, and Bliss, they do contain around the site. You look at their money management right now, it is flourishing. You look toward their ultimate status, they really only have Jungle WoW available with that Cosmic Divide, but the most important thing from the side of Bliss right now, they're not relying on their ults to get things done, right? They're going in with their own rifles and their own individual shooting ability, and that's what's really working for them. There's a gamble sack for straight out of the zoo in this round right now over towards B, and the lean from Bliss is over towards A.
Once again, waiting patiently. They do send some information early on into showers, but nothing else has happened. Just waiting for the patient. I'm trying to work out in the chat what these guys want as well. Can't ask for shout-outs. Shout out to you, chat. You're handsome. You're here watching us.
Shout out to
on this fine Thursday evening.
Shout out to Crash on the cameras.
Yeah, oi.
On the orb.
Shout out to Fraser. Shout out to Disco. All the homies. The business starting on the back end. Without them, we would just be an empty suit. Nice hacks. Spotted out early. Major, though, getting aggressive. Once again, straight out of the zoo at the disadvantage. Easy, looking for something on the flank. Did a big ol' swipe of the mouse pad there. Nebula is available. Punda did manage to sneak onto the other side. Finds a good bit of timing as well. Mike, Punda! Okay, buddy, here we go. That raise, ever so sharp. Looking now, it's all on the easy. And Mike, to close it, that is going to be another round in the bag for straight out of the zoo. And they pick it up, at least finding 2. I mean, look, it's not a clean sweep. It's still going to be hard into the next half, but the zoo ain't monkeying around here. Sorry.
Do I go on the not forgiven stance right now, or do I forgive you when we move on? I think we do the latter, as the boys are going to be moving on in the game right now too.
The awful giggle probably sent me there.
Yeah, maybe a little bit so, but nevertheless, Mitch, it's another round on the board for straight out of the zoo, right? And even on the thrifty nature, it does mean that they get the proper rifles coming in towards this new round. A couple of ults as well to be able to redeploy, but I think in this one, if you're Bliss, you just kind of want to go back towards your foundations and make sure that you're cordoning everything off and covering everything that you need to do.
Holding over the top of the dark cover, Daddy Boy doesn't want to go for a cheeky little swing, but Ronski not going to be sent. Does fire it. Oh, that's actually a lot of damage on a Daddy Boy there as well. Major gets the boom bot into Hookah. He's been doing that very, very regularly. Major's been incredible in this one. Same with Ronski. They've just been super consistent. I actually don't mind not seeing the Jet. You know, it basically was 100% pick ban for quite a while, but given the changes to the operator and things of that nature, it doesn't always need to come out. But Yifang, he's going to come out here, finding the opener onto Major.
You know, I think I saw a little bit earlier today, or maybe it was yesterday, the Viper pick rate as well. When they do see her, they've seen a 60% win rate in those matches. I think that was in the ranked department, but it's good to see that she's got that utilization for the first time ever. But we do see a little bit of the Jet, you know, coming on down, as you do mention. In this round, though, Bliss have already found one player losing their life. Now another one as they finally get a trade coming on through. 30 seconds to go, though, as well. Does really tip toward a round favor of straight out of the zoo. Precious, however, is in amongst the B site. He could get shot through the wall here as well, but nice hack. He finds easy on the trail, and that is the spike. That is probably the round as well.
They did so well to isolate the positions here, and now getting the Lear out, Ronski, but I think that's just going to be the immediate save call. Yifang drops Fleshest, and now with Ronski having to sort of fall away, the purple eyes, They gaze off into the distance as he does have to hightail it out of there, sitting inside the spawn, waiting until the next round does come around. So straight out of the zoo, they only let Bliss get 6, and now they've got 3 in the bag out of the last 4. Certainly starting to at least put a bit of contest. Whatever they did in that chat, maybe Yifang, grabbed the boys together and said, hey, look, let's just chill, let's relax. Because the aim even has changed. They've all looked super crispy. But maybe it's on Jungle, Fleshless, and easy to pick up. I suppose Jungle's had a few good frags coming out, but the rest of the members have been pretty quiet. But with that being said, it's going to be on the duelists to create that space on the attacking side, and the Sentinels on the defense.
Deploying drone.
Couple more on this defensive side right now, Mitch, is what we need to see from straight out of the zoo, to not lose grasp early on and have their mindset shattered. Of course, they do have the rifles in their possession right now, and nice hacks on the operator, but his head is just instantly taken off its shoulders quite cleanly. Ronski. That was 1 bullet out of the chamber. A single 1 tap. And that is just as clean as you can get. Operator down, jet down, blade's not available there. And I'll sit with this for a bit. They've got some time to be able to play with. Let's straight to the zoo, maybe reveal their hand if they want to go aggressive as the recon bolt goes over towards long. Ronski isn't going to be met with any big damage, any damage at all from the Hunter's Fury. 40 seconds play advantage for Bliss. Endeavoring over towards B with Ronski here, but the spike is over towards A, actually.
That's an operator warning shot if I've ever heard it as well. Sending some information out. Nothing yet to be secured, however. Punda makes quick work of Major. Raised it in this round, but in this round only. Punda finding another one here. He is really starting to fire up right now. The dark cover coming out from Duddy Boy. Bliss already a little bit too far away. It's going to be Yifang to find the operator shot onto Jungle Out. Looks like, unfortunately, it's just not enough time. Easy has to just try and chill to save. And straight out of the zoo, 4 alive, a 4th round, and the momentum is well and truly behind him right now, Dion.
It's always one of the things when you try to plant that objective in the spike very early on, or very late on rather, and you've got your players not really surrounding the site, it makes a bit of a hold very, very difficult, especially when you've got those 4 players still alive on straight out of the zoo. I mean, you saw the first pick come out from Bliss there, but then it was really nothing, right? It was just straight out of the zoo, kind of planting their feet, getting done what they needed to, and they make it work in the end. So Strata Zoo starting to feel out what they need to do exactly on this defensive side. And in the new beginnings of this fresh round, you've got the operator that's going to be posted up in amongst the hookah. As the Aldrin comes in, we'll get a tag out. But they're falling back. They're not really going to do anything else in the back.
Nice hacks, missing that shot, but the operator does have to reposition. He's also taken down extremely low. No heals available either, unfortunately. Now Major. Oh, Major there.
Oh no, what did he hit?
Game, but he still charges in. It's not going to matter. Doesn't actually need the showstopper there. The party was already over. Duddy Boy. First from the shadows, teleporting over towards this long position. So at least in a rotating cutoff location, I guess you could say. But it looks like Ronski is right aware of it. Will hit the shots. Captain Levi is going to be taking those jewels as now it's all on to just Punda. Going for a couple of wall bangs. Fleshless is ready for it though. So there we go. After straight out of the zoo, do put the task to Bliss. At least we do see a response for the 7th round there. And now we move on into the final round of the half.
Yeah, and the operator is going to be brought out back by Nice Hacks as well. We'll have the operator in possession. And Bladestorm available is what I'm actually trying to get in towards in the little ramblings. Yifang 1 away from the Hunter's Fury. Would like to see him be able to focus into it. Maybe go for that long push again if they can get it on out. We do know that Easy likes to throw a couple of shock darts over towards this location from time to time, so might just have to be careful on that one. He currently is situated outside the hookah, so might be putting his own dart in toward the main peak. But for Yifang, there goes out that bolt. You're going to have Nice X posted for him to be able to get that orb, and then hopefully use the Hunter's Fury a little bit later on. But he gets his head ripped on off. Nice X has brought out these blades, and he has to be able to get a trade frag. It's going to be a little bit of a bladed one, but they don't look for him. And he's just the right click. Oh dear.
So getting around the corner, not actually going to be spotted either. So Nice Hacks could be the linchpin here. Might be able to find a whole world of damage, but after the rest of his team does pretty much go down, looks to find the shot here. Does get a little bit missy, but finds one in the end. Quickly traded out by Major. It's all on to just Duddy Boy, the Omen. the shadows. He's going to be able to find much. Great shot. There's the opener. Exactly what he needs here. Does he have the pacing to at least pick that up from the shadows? Gets him to the position that he needs to be. Aware of it. Does find Ronski. A little bit of damage back. Not going to quite find Jungle Wow. Now the paranoia to send them at bay. Does have to go for the reload here, but it's going to be so hard to isolate these two players. Sitting towards the elbow. Does fire a warning shot. Narrowly missing that one as well. Two keep swinging on in. It's going to be a little bit too hard though, Dion. Almost. They've still just made him run out of time. And unfortunately, Dunny Boy will go down to the shadows as Bliss take 8.
Yep, they take the half quite nicely in the end. A string of rounds there for straight out of 0-3 in a row, as we do see it with the scoreboard being brought up. But at the end there, you know, Bliss's overwhelming forces just really stretching out in toward the B site. You do see the little bit of the dance around the smokes over at Garden, but in the end, only good for one on the back of that operator before being traded out. Bliss doing exactly what they needed to there. Ronski Major on your duelists, you know, up on that frag department, exactly what you want to be seeing with their teammates, you know, supporting and providing a little bit of assurance and covering off with some different angles. So in those endeavors, very nicely done. But that's where things all change, right? Because it's onto this defensive side. It's where you would expect the pace to be a little bit slowed down from them. Maybe we do see the rest of the team maybe pick up the mantle on those kill departments, and those duelists maybe slow down as well. But for the flip side, straight out of the zoo, this is their time to shine and show maybe pugging it can do on this attacker's side.
On my mark.
The opportunity now for straight out of the zoo to do something in the aggressive side, wanting to try and at least make this game a little bit more tight. Of course, in the previous 13-4 in favor of Order over the Direwolves. The map feeders have been interesting so far. I guess the main thing is in this one, at least, you know, despite Bliss being a strong bind team straight out of the zoo, quite well equipped on it. Yifeng does get the opener here. Ronski allows himself the trade easy. Does also get the good shot onto Duddy Boy. So a 4-on-4, still heading their way towards this B site, but nothing out of hookah just yet.
Yeah, and of course with these guys, there's no sages to be brought in or the skies, so damage done is damage done, except on the side of Ronski with the Reyna, who can get out a heal at the cost of one of those Devour charges. But as we do stream over towards the A site, straight to the zoo, we'll be clearing off everything that they can, and Punda even getting a little bit antsy just to clear over the truck. But nevertheless, the spike will go down from them, turn into a post plant. But that is a sharp shot, and some extra heals from Ronski now. It essentially acts as a bit of the shields, but it's taken down immediately by Nicehax. 3-3.
3-on-3, time ticking. It's going to be a very, very tough retake for Bliss here. The recon bolt does head over. Nothing going to be spotted just yet. There is one back from Yifeng. Now the information gathered. Jungle Wow, good shot onto Nicehax. Moving on in, Yifeng is going to be able to find another. Fleshes though, and Jungle Wow to close it. So Bliss, despite looking in a little bit of a challenging situation, they actually do manage to bring this one back nicely. A 9th round, easy as you like, to start off the second half.
Indeed. And that is going to, I guess, hurt a little bit over to the side of straight out of the zoo, right? Because that would have been one of their opportunities to get things started over on that attacker's side. At least they do get the plant money, plant credits into all their pockets to justify some semblance of a purchase in this one, which we do see them starting to bring on forward. The Spectres, you've got the Judge to come in there from Punda. You'd expect the satchel charges to be thrown on down for him to get very quickly in towards a location as well. Only has one charge, actually, so he's going to slow down a little bit by that. But easy to send out a recon bolt to back showers. Get some early information.
My camera is destroyed.
Camera as well there, actually. Gets destroyed, but saw something over the smoke.
Betsy Ronski can be a little bit scary with that Judge in hand. There's going to be one, but Punda does it right back. Very nicely done, my friend.
Cage trigger.
If you can't beat him, join him. Everyone watching Lakers demos, apparently. Now trying to march on up, moving towards CT. Major a long way away, but at least he is in an opportune position to catch someone off on the flank. Looks like they are ready for it, though. Flesh just has to try create a lot of space for his team here. Mike, I like that off angle, but he needs to find the right amount of timing. Should be there. Not going to be ready for it, but Major, in the end, actually will be able to find it. The boom bot now to go out. The recon bolt does reveal. So still going to be tough, but Major gets another one. It's going to be all on the Punda. Doesn't have any satchel charges available. Not going to be able to jump over the top. Great usage of the paint shells, though, but it's not quite enough. And Fleshes, love to see it. Another round from Bliss, despite being tight and playing from behind.
You had to really see Punda go for a bit of a wide swing there as well. You could see he was trying to hug close toward the truck, but in that situation, his body's sticking out way too far that it's just a really easy kill to come through at the end there from Bliss. And I mean, they convert that round. They do shut down the purchase attempt from straight out of the zoo as well. By all means, on paper, this next round should be a free one for Bliss. We do see a little bit of a valid attempt at a buy from straight out of the zoo. And you could quote the next round that we'll see with the proper purchase up from straight out of the zoo being a bonus round for Bliss. But I mean, they are definitely chasing for their 11th round right now, and they're going to be going very fast in towards mid for themselves, in toward the sands deployment. Look at the ground that's already been made as well.
Chaos in shoes.
Oops.
Great shot from JIESCA. Trying to make it a second. Major though. Finds it again. Mike at least available for another. So it's almost even Stevens. Straight out of the zoo does have the advantage on one, but also very, very low on Punda. Great swing from Major. Page shells will be secured, but then picks up the pace, tries to get down it. Oh, never mind. It doesn't matter. Major's actually going to be able to find one. So it's into a 2-on-2. There's been a lot of interesting things happening this round so far, Dion. Certainly a spicy one.
Yeah, I'm going to rip up the paper right now because that is certainly not working. The script has not been read right in this round. Straight out of the zoo. Upgrade onto a Spectre for Duddy Boy. Probably just staying on the Sheriff here for the long duel. As Jungle is still going to be sitting himself over at the B site. You do have the Cypher over in the A site as well. Fleshes territory with all the utility that he has currently got deployed. And I like the passive approach from him. You know, he knows he doesn't need to move. Also might have a sixth sense that he knows we're here now and shaking on that camera. But you know who's not there? Straight out of the zoo. They're over towards this B site. Util through. Bang Recon Bolt isn't going to reveal Jungle as he finds one. Does get traded out. And now this is where things get very, very interesting. Plant down. But Yifeng has 14 points of health.
Super tight. It's going to be a big amount of timing. I suppose the big rotate from Yifeng certainly starts to amount the pressure onto how long it's going to be to actually find this plant. Now it's going to be ring around the rosy. Who questions their decision making? Yifeng holding that line. Is he actually going to be aware of this? This could be like the extreme over the top big brain, but the noise. Exactly, Dion. Unfortunately, gives up the goat, and that will be Old Mate Yifeng finding a round for straight out of the zoo. Still in it to win it here. Look at the frag disparity right now. 22 and 20 for Major and Ronsky. Looking so hot on those duelists, where across the other side of the river, it does appear to be a little bit more even. Very surprising to see the scorelines for JIESCA and Duddy Boy. I feel like, you know, they've actually had some impact here so far with some good frags, but they've just sort of been, you know, thrown to the side by Bliss. Good players in their own right, but yeah, again, you know, with the standard sort of team structure and composition, maybe it's starting to slip away a little bit. But Major, 4, get it, no, it's 3. And JIESCA at least to find one back. Major in a good opportunity. There's the 4K. Just give him the ace at this point, guys.
Reyna killed.
Mike, good for one. Major on the prowl for the ace. Perfect position on the showstopper, coupled with the gravity well to just pull the opponents in. And Mike, he knows he doesn't want to give up the ace. The clip on towards the socials, where we probably already know it's going to be happening with what he's done in this round already. They are all sitting on toward the spike. It's interesting that Major isn't actually going toward the hunt. He will know that Mike has to come toward this location, but looking at the wrong area. When will Mike pull the trigger on this gun and try to find a little bit of damage? Looking over toward it now. Jungle is there with questions on that camera. They shoulder him out. Major manages to find it, but the ace in the end. The 180 flick. Bliss. They find 11, and Major dismantles straight out of the zoo.
Picture this. You're Major. You've just picked Raze. Moving into Bind. It's a big competition, and you've still got the confidence to absolutely just fang it down mid.
There.
Off the back of those satchels, utilizing the showstopper, collecting 3 on the top of the gravity well, and 27 frags is in order for you right now. Only 3 away from 30, and in Valorant, 30 dropping 30 is a feat in its own right. You know, like, it's very, very irregular that we do see that kind of stuff happen, and with only 16 rounds coming out, just do the math yourself, ladies and gentlemen. Impact City.
Bliss do find this round here. It goes into map point. Try and knock straight out of the zoo down into the lower bracket area of this double elim quad area. Quad bracket, rather, I'd say. Still a very slow pace for straight out of the zoo. They don't really see anything too heavy off the get-go. Lots of util to be able to still throw out Yifeng. The full kit and caboodle on this Sova. Likewise, Duddy Boy on this Omen. 2 away from the shadows. Plant and an orb here over at Long could do so. But they are eventually going to path their way up through this Long area all together. And Flesh's camera is going to spot out information earlier. They can go through the TP if they want to. But with the deployment forces of Bliss over at that A site, they should be ready for it as well. Very large lob of paint kills from Major. Finding 28th, 29th kill in the game, looking for a 30. Going to be denied in at the end. And Flesh's now has to hold down the 4 to B.
All the way out now. Flesh just tapping away. Does at least manage to find another on a Duddy Boy. Yifeng in a position to deny, but unfortunately Easy is there. And with only Punda alive, 26 points of HP, does have the showstopper available, but Bronski's there to deny it. And he does manage to find it. So we do see some good things still from Bliss. And, you know, despite straight out of the zoo doing some good damage, at least they have put in a good effort here. Certainly haven't been absolutely sent to the side. It's just been Bliss looking really, really consistent.
Now, the consistency is key in this one right now. You know, a little bit of a shake-up on one of the rounds on this half so far, but now that they've got 7 rounds of cushioning, they know that if they do drop anything, they will be able to pick it up a little bit later on. But for straight out of the zoo, Mitch, they have to run the gauntlet now. They have to make sure that they are getting everything done to a T. Make sure they don't drop anything. And for Ronski already being pushed up in towards this cubby, he hasn't been spotted out by that owl drone. Recon Bolt's going to miss him as well. There is the first kill in the round. Nice hacks down. Can even still dismiss away if he needs to. He's gotten 3 quick frags. Yifeng good for 2 in return, but is that damage done already in the round that'll guarantee victory for Bliss?
We get it done. This opportunity still there, presents itself. It's just so funny watching the 2 lads at the moment, Major and Ronski, just sort of fighting for it. Trying to get towards the top of the server. Major, he wants to make it 30. But that might not happen. Still could be an opportunity, though, if Yifeng bring it back. The neural theft is out. Trying to find the location of the remaining members here. 50 seconds left on the clock. They do have enough time to get over towards the B location. Question's pushing down. Should be able to find Mike. And off the back of that being a little bit split, I mean, it means the rotation is good. But now with the tripwire, the information is gathered. Yifeng is going to be able to get the plant down nice and easily, but he has so much work to do. Oh, he's actually given up the goat here too.
They know this.
They're going to know.
They don't hear the spike going down here, Mitch, and they know that he's looking for an engagement. He's going to go over towards spawn. He finds it as well. 1 versus 1. Cosmic Divide. Yifeng, you're on for the ace, son. You're on to keep your team alive in this tourney, but no. Jungle says no. Finds the needed frag in the round to close at 13-5 over to Bliss.
Well, there you go. They do deny Major of 30, but regardless, that is a phenomenal result coming out here from Bliss. I love the confidence that has been sent out by these duelists right now. It appears that the rest of the members didn't even really need to do a whole lot, but in those situations, that's absolutely fine. You know, not everyone needs to, you know, be crazily contesting for the top frags every single, you know, point of the game right now when it's just, you know, Bronski, go kill, let's see what he can do. And obviously, you know, both of them created so much space and allowed the rest of the team to make their way up. So congratulations to Bliss. They obviously move on in the upper bracket of the tournament. And unfortunately, we do see straight out of the zoo drop down and we'll be joining the Direwolves in a, or what, is it later tonight? I believe it is.
Oh, game 1 and 2 loss area. I think maybe we know that our good friend Digital is going to be covering the B stream games as well a little bit later on. So that is going to be good to go and watch over if you are interested in following a couple of those teams there. But for right now, that does mean that we're going to have Bliss meeting up with Order in this upper area as well, which should be a really exciting match, which will be on tomorrow.
Absolutely. So, yeah, definitely looking forward to that one. But as we wait for the interview, I do want to give a quick notification as well, guys, of course. The second open qualifier for the closed qualifier, that's sort of how it works. We do have the opens to get into those 2 closed qualifiers for the stage 2 of the Valorant Oceania Tour for 2021. That means, of course, there is still an opportunity to do it. So May 13th, sign up, get amongst it. But we do have Easy, the Sova of the handsome crew of Bliss. How you doing tonight, mate?
Hey man, I'm pretty good. Pretty stoked that we won pretty quickly. Yeah, I did nothing that game. It was all my teammates, Major and Ronsky, bro. Those guys popped off like crazy. That's the life of a server for me. That's my story in my team. I just kick back and my teammates just frag.
So all you need to do, man, just throw out those recon bolts and just gather the information. But look, I don't think there's a problem sometimes with Ronsky and Major go kill. It clearly works out for you. But look, I just wanted to sort of touch on, obviously the roster has now started to settle with Ronsky. How's everything going in Bliss? You guys have been doing some great stuff with some content up on your Twitters. Love to see it.
Yeah, we're doing pretty good. To be honest, we're quite burnt. Like, it's tournaments after tournaments after tournaments. Like, I don't know if the other top players are feeling tired or burnt out too, but personally we're pretty tired. But now that hopefully we call for close qual so that we can just take a break, stage finals I mean, so that we can just take that 2-week break.
Now, having a break is always well needed in times, in a competitive space. But I want to know in that game there, what was the communications like for you guys when Major hit that ace?
Oh yeah. Yeah, Precious was hard apparently. That's all I can say.
Love to see it. Oh, no, I was going to say, man, look, before we sort of do start to wrap up, of course, moving on into the rest of the competition, you guys have got to be facing up against some really, really top teams. Who do you think is the most challenging inside this tournament right now? And if you say order, explain to me why.
To be honest, I think personally for us, we think it's either MF or Wildcard, just because they always smash us. But when it comes to order, we always like put it pretty close. So yeah, Mind Freak or Wildcard.
Cool.
That's fair enough going into that one. And it'll be good to see, you guys move on, because on touching upon that, I mean, you guys are going to be playing against Order next, right? Going in toward the best of 3 in that. And I guess you guys might look to get maybe a little bit more punished, Ronsky and Major might not be allowed to just kind of run around and go shoot like they were today. So it'll be back on the plan for that one. But I mean, going in toward that game for Order, any plans, any like fighting words for them?
Any fighting words? Yeah, I'm coming for you, signed. Let's see who's the better sober.
Love to hear it. Oh, on the back of that, man, before we do wrap up, any aside from the fighting words for Order, any shout outs you want to give to anyone watching at home or anything like that?
Shout out to Team Bliss, lovely org, great people, great management, and they help the players pretty well. And shout out to obviously my teammates, my mom and dad, and all the fans.
That's awesome, man. Thank you so much, guys. We've just heard from Easy, of course, part of the winning team in Bliss tonight, who were successful on buying 13-5. So again, make sure you do jump on and sign up for that next open qualifier in May 13, guys. That is the date, of course. And a reminder as well that we will have those lower bracket matches getting expended later on. Digital cast on the mic. But guys, don't go anywhere. We're going to be taking a short break before we get right back into the next one.
I just time traveled. Today's a big day for past me. He just got the latest Vodafone broadband with super Wi-Fi, which finally means Wi-Fi in all 4 corners of the house. What? Even there? I've got Wi-Fi in the garage. Yeah, we do. See ya. Oh, it's still in the garage. Yeah. Super Wi-Fi. Wall-to-wall Wi-Fi guaranteed.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back again for the 2021 Valorant Oceania Tour. Of course, it is the closed qualifier, stage number 2, closed qualifier number 1. There will be some more coming around in the upcoming weeks. Obviously, at the start of the broadcast, we've ran through the whole sort of lay of the land on how everything works and how everyone is going to be playing for the Valorant Champions towards the end of the year in December. It's going to be the big global event. We've been waiting to have it happen, getting back on land, getting around the world, because we haven't really seen much, Dion, as of yet. Of obviously what other regions look up against each other. Hey.
Yeah, pretty much. It's only like where the teams endeavor from, like Sonics from here towards NA, or any NA teams going to EU and vice versa, right? So it really doesn't give any significant things on the back of it. We really do have to wait for those full-on massive competitions when it is on LAN, because you know how it always is. Nothing is proven until it is played on LAN.
Absolutely. But below us, guys, right now in the lower third, we do have, of course, the results that we've seen tonight. Order was besting Direwolves there on split. It was a 13-4 scoreline. And then, of course, we just witnessed Team Bliss take down straight out of the zoo. What was it, 13-5 on Bind. So very, very nice results to come out. Obviously, we saw some dominant plays come in from Ronsky and Major. And then we heard from Easy towards the tail end as well and signed earlier on. But that is only halfway on the evening tonight. Of course, the matchup that we do have now is going to be Mindfreak versus Paradox, shortly followed by Wildcard versus Kanga. So 2 more explosive matches that we've actually got on store for tonight, Leon.
Yeah, no, that's 100% coming into that as well. We do know, Mindfreak's little ramblings around in the region so far, and the big old game that we were watching, or you were actually talking about on the weekend there, that just went over when they battled against Order. But for Paradox, it's a bit of a different Paradox, of course. They've seen some players that have gone a bit left, right, and center around the regions right now, so a little bit of a new formation for them.
Yeah, well, look, Paradox is that one trade out, though, right? You know, they've taken the spot of Overpower Strike out of the 7 of the 8 that we did see. But let's introduce the teams. We're going to roll in and check out Mindfreak. It's a roster that we all know very, very well right now. And well, I'm going to contact Lakers and ask for some pictures afterwards. That's all I'm going to say. We've even lost the picture of Pex as well. God damn it, that's fine. But no, look, they're a staple in and amongst our community right now. They've been dominant in big events. You know, we heard it from Easy. They said they were one of the most scary teams and sort of always dominant them. But it's Lakers on the Jet, Watt on the Astra and Omen, Norson with the Killjoy dominant scroll, usually seeing him out in the Sova, and then Pex flexing around, likes to pick up the Reyna, the Breach, but a very, very versatile roster in Mindfreak. They're looking to contest and be the best, and they're getting there.
Yeah, of course, they, though, are going to have to prove their worth in this best of one, which anything can happen against one of the new formed teams in Paradox. So once we do look to transition over towards there, I mean, Lakers, we'll see exactly what he's going to do. Times upon it, we do say that, if he's not really getting the things out on the operator, then he's not really getting things out in the rifles too. So he has to be on for one today. But here is Paradox with pictures. We do love it. And this is what we're going to be seeing. Delusion, Indie, Nation, Exhibit, and Exempt. I mean, we're going to be seeing Delusion, go up on that Sova, and they are the Viper. If we do come towards some specific maps there in Icebox Nation, we know that he's going to be bringing out that Killjoy and amongst Indy, you know, over toward that duelist mentality, the Raze and the Jet from memory. You're going to have Exhibit on the Smoke and the Sage if needed as well, Mitch, and then Exempt. We know him to be also on the Sova, likes to change it up with Delusion when necessary, but one thing that I want to see is if we're going to come into it, Exempt on the Breach. That's something that I like to see.
Absolutely. You know, in a recent competition, it was sort of my first real delve into the Paradox side, and it was very enjoyable to follow their journey on, and we get to see them again tonight. So, yeah, look, great roster. It should be a really, really good one as well. You know, Mind Freak, again, likely a little bit of the favorite here, but there's the old stalemate, Nation and Norsen, you know, two fantastic players. I'm actually sort of easing around a bit of commentary lately that Norsen having one of the potential arguments to start to become one of the best players in the region. We've seen him look so good, and it doesn't matter really who he's playing against. He can put up numbers.
Yeah, we have to just see the consistency come through from him and the big brain on the Killjoy as well. You know, bring it back towards a long time ago with Pilsky and amongst this previous stage, I think it was, when he was getting out those nanos and stuff with the combinations. It was really, really good to be able to see. And AS Nation, likewise, you know, being able to see the good usage of their utility in this game is paramount. You have to know how to use it, and pretty much when to use it too is a real big thing.
Yeah, absolutely. So those are our players, those are our teams, and beforehand we actually did manage to catch up from Delusion from Paradox, of course. So let's pick into his brain and see what he had to say before the matchup.
So my in-game name is Delusion, and I play for Paradox Gaming.
The knives down, he does spot the first, and the second hiding around the corner, Delusion.
So we have one guy who's playing tonight's game, but is probably going to be leaving the team soon. So there's been a bit of differences in prac in the last 2 weeks. We've sort of had one guy come in for prac, but not actually playing. We need to keep our spot for the second close qual, so sort of said may as well play this, and then see how it goes. If we pull off a win, it's added bonus, to be honest. Yeah, we did get Mind Freak. I think since they got Pex, they got a lot better. The last open qual, we versed them for seeding games, and in my mind, we should have won if we didn't throw. So it's not so much that they beat us, but we lost, if that makes sense. So if everything goes to plan, there's a chance that we can upset. But as of right now, it's not really that we need to be top 2 in the region. It's mainly we need points this time around because we missed out last time. So getting the points this stage means a lot, and then obviously making next stage means more. Confirming top 8 now is important, and then getting top 2 by the end of the year is the big part.
East side of things from a Paradox, with Delusion finding 2.
Well, me and Exempt have been on the roster the longest now because there's been so much chopping and changing. So I joined in December, and then me and Exempt, basically the two that talk the most in-game and try and keep morale a little higher. It is difficult sometimes, obviously everyone knows playing, people get tilted, all that good fun. As for me personally, it's literally just positive mental and good attitude between everyone. I wouldn't say I'm the sharpest in the team by a mile, but yeah.
Apparently, I've accidentally hit a button on the wrong side, guys. But that's okay. No, we're back. I was saying that me and Delusion actually do share some similarities inside the server. Not the sharpest, but at least there for the positive vibes and trying to keep it up across the board. But that's a really cool insight. You know, again, as I said, I haven't really sort of seen a whole bunch from Paradox in the past, like personally on commentary. But the fact is that, you know, they are a team that are making changes. Obviously, they've made their way into the, stage 2, close qualifier number 1. So they've got some stuff that they need to prove here. And I think the tough thing is going up against Mind Freak nice and early is going to be scary, but they seem to be in good spirits going forward.
Yeah, and they've got a plan, as you do hear it there as well, you know, trying to accumulate some points in this one, go at it next time and try to qualify it for those stage quals area, and then try to get top 2 by the end of it to try to get overseas. So that big plan is there for them. But, you know, they'll have a milestone to be able to go through that, right? They've got some roster changes that are coming on through that haven't been cemented in stone. You hear it there, you know, in playing with someone or pracking with someone, rather, who isn't going to be playing in this tourney as well. So it's a little bit unfortunate there, but hopefully it all is well-rounded when they get into the server tonight.
Absolutely. So let's find out what these guys are playing for, obviously, or playing on, rather, as we do check out the vetoes here. So we are going to be seeing Bind come out again. Now, that does get a little bit dicey. I think, you know, Mind Freak really, really good at Bind. But look, I'm starting to sound a little bit biased. I'm not at all. It's going to be the time where, we do potentially see those upsets come out. We haven't tonight so far, but best of ones, anything can happen, right? Different mental going into the game, maybe some pacing issues, things like that. So if it's an opportunity for Paradox to do it, they certainly can here on the map of Bind. But remember, of course, we aren't in elimination territory just yet. These are the opening matches of the top 8. And obviously the winners go on into the best of 3s tomorrow night, but we do see the lower bracket come out later on as well.
Yep. So for these guys, it is, as you say, not elimination. It's just to try to have a lesser match count run in that upper bracket and to try to get through towards the grand finals with that the added bonus of the map advantage as well. We already know that there's Bliss and Order on the flip side. These guys, trying to get this victory here. We'll put them up against the winner of Wildcard and Kanga that is going to be in the next matchup. But we're back to Bind here, Mitch. I'm expecting different agent deployments and picks from these guys, however, compared to our previous one.
Yeah, absolutely. It was sort of very, very straightforward from straight out of the zoo. I am assuming we're going to see some form of Astra brought in. I do think that Walt has been toying around with that, but he's always been relatively consistent sitting on the Omen depending on the map. I think for me, checking out to see what Paradox have got to offer for us tonight will be really, really cool. So, I guess should be another good one. I think after tonight, after it's been a little bit one-sided. But with that being said, despite the one-sided affairs, they haven't been bad games by any means. Dire Wolves, they showed some really exciting stuff at the start. At least there was something to prove there. But the experience of Order sort of working around, how they can adapt to the play style. And then the same could be similarly said for Straight Out of the Zoo. They put up numbers, but it was the Bliss show in the end.
Yeah, it was the Bliss show in the end of that one, of course. 13-4, 13-5 is what we have seen so far. Between these two teams, though, kind of am expecting a bit of a closer one, right?
Yeah, I would say so. There's definitely that opportunity. I think, if they stick the knife in and catch them, catch them sleeping, maybe a little bit complacent on the side of Mindfreak. If they go into this treating the team as, not the same level as them, there's always the opportunity there, I guess.
Yeah, so we are just waiting for the confirmation for the game to be able to start in just a moment, of course. But, the territory, right? It's not a BO3 status. It's Bind. Anything can happen. Anything may happen in this. We saw the Thrifty rounds come through in the previous one as well. But now, guys, without further ado, we look to go in towards Bind between these guys in Mindfreak and Paradox.
Bind again, the second time round on the evening. It's a great map, obviously very, very challenging. It's got the teleporters, but the competition, Dion, right now, it is, of course, the VALORANT Oceania Tour for 2021. We are now into stage 2, where it does start to have the pressure applied. All of these teams not only fighting for the cash, but also to contest the best in the world, trying to get to that Oceania and North America last chance qualifier. But let's get into it right now with Mindfreak versus Paradox.
I'm just looking up toward it as well. You know what we're getting, Mitch? We are getting a mirror match in the pick of the agents right now. So it will come down to the differences between who can play better on these agents, whose aim is sharper, and who, or rather which team, is better at counteracting the opponents. So for right now, Mindfreak start on the defensive side, Paradox start on the offensive side, and we're straight looking for some B-Sands control, or B-Short control as it's actually called there up in the left under the radar. But Paradox, they want to go straight on out, and that's a missed dash from Indy. Oh dear.
It's okay, though, because he is still alive for the time being, and so is Exemptive Exhibit. They are going to be able to find it. Pexy Boy, he is here on that raise, and we'll be able to find 3, but it's not enough, maybe, Dion. There have been the equalizers. The trades now going back and forth into the 2-on-2. The Owl drone to be sent out from Delusion. Whether or not he's actually going to be able to spot anything, though, he does in the end. Information gathered. 2-on-2 now.
I have the spike.
Absolutely love it as well. He knows that he's very vulnerable being tagged out by that one. Buying time, waiting to see him dance around the back of the side as Lakers flank comes out. Scroll finally pops up his head, and he's able to dispatch of Indy. I did love the dance that Scroll was doing at the back there, but it was really Pex, starting off the show for Mindfreak in that one. Able to find 3 on the back of that Ghost, ripping their heads off. Very well played out by Mindfreak.
There.
Absolutely.
There.
Great recovery. I think Pex really stepping up to the plate there with that 3K with the Ghost as well, and even onto their half shield too. So it wasn't just the singular headshots. So now, after losing that round, they are going to go for just a gentle investment, picking up a couple of buckies, and they're going to be running straight into Hookah here, but I don't think Nawson's going to be giving him a chance.
Purchase these pistols for Paradox. We know that they're going to get the proper purchase up in the next round. Pex just needs to not whiff it on through, and unfortunately he does so in this one. So first casualty has been seen, and now Scroll needs to make sure all of the shots are going to be connecting. But Paradox do look to retrieve themselves in this player advantage. They haven't been able to upgrade themselves onto the Spectre as well that was dropped earlier on. So for now, they will sit tight, see if anyone from Mindfreak does overextend. The only problem being is they do have 2 players low on the side of Paradox, and they can fall quite quickly to these Spectres.
Blinding. Paranoia available. We'll be able to at least keep them at bay for the time being. Very, very low on HP. Lakers, though, this is his territory, Dion. You can't exactly contest that one, can you? The boom bot is going to be the thing that catches him. But what is on the other side? Norson going to find Exhibit, but Nation, the last man standing. They're narrowly missing the shot. So well done from Watt. Closing a second round for Mindfreak. A little bit of BM as well. But now they move on into the bonus territory. The old Classico. Something in Valorant that I'm still adjusting to over time. But it does make it exciting. You know, if the teams play it a little bit differently and manage to actually pull through a bonus, it does really set them up for a solid start to the half.
Wouldn't have expected anything less there from Lakers as well to be purchasing up on the Judge. He is going to carry it over into this fresh round. And you look at that Boombot, he found 2 kills, could have tailwinded away, but not quick on it, unfortunately. He lost his life there, but I digress. In toward the fresh round, the purchase is here for Paradox. There is a deployment of forces in Hookah for Mindfreak as well, as on the flip side, they are actually getting out through towards Showers. I like this spot from Nation, very, very deep, and he's rewarded for it as well. What? Overextending into no man's territory without his teammate as well to get out the trade. So quite unfortunate.
There's 2 key factors in the Mindfreak bind. Watts Showers, Lakers U-Haul. If you can manage to work that out, sometimes you might be rewarded. So it looks like that's the opening pick there. Nation doing his research, waiting for the aggression out on the other side of the dark cover. The only other challenge, I guess, you know, aside from the really, really consistent play coming out from the rest of these players, you know, Pex, super sharp. But Norson, he is impactful as anything, you know. Really, really liking how well he has opened up recently. But Peck's gone for a little bit of a journey. Might find Nation, but it's actually going to be him to find the seconds. Nicely done. Paradox moving forward.
Yeah, not dropping anything just yet to the lesser weaponry on the Mindfreak side. We know that they're lesser equipped because this is that bonus round for them. Scroll is going to peek out and his cape to be fluttering on through as well. As the Cloudburst's going on out, this is where we're going to look for the plant for Paradox and turn into a potential retake scenario for Mindfreak. The Paranoia goes on out as Exhibit will look to fall back on it as well. Lots of crossfires to be seen right now as Exhibit manages to put Scroll to rest. Lakers finds his head on for the platinum now, but he's managed to find Exhibit.
Enemy remaining.
Oh, Lakers. That's just him down to a T, right? Trying to get aggressive, trying to push through that cloud burst, and looks like Nation's going to be ready for it. So Norson just trying to get away from there. Very, very key for Paradox to try and keep as many members alive as possible. Going to get the recon dart out there as well, just for good measure. Norson's going to go for the teleport. He's actually going to be spotted too. Nation with the 4K. Very, very nice on that Cypher. And Paradox, they do find their first.
Getting on that board, not dropping it out in the bonus round is very well placed for them, but this is where things will get really tested. This is where the purchase is going to come through for Mindfreak quite properly. Lakers with a Blade Storm available. He might even be toying with the idea of exactly that, the Operator. I saw that he had 5,000 credits. He's going to do so and offside it with those blades. So a very large investment from Mindfreak in toward this round. And if it doesn't work out for them, they are going to be on that eco territory going in toward the next one. But right now, Lakers is going to poise himself out through long, going for the peak. The recon bolt goes out. It does reveal him as well. And that's going to give up a bunch of the information because that Tracer, that'll show his Operator in his hands.
Does indeed. He's going to hightail it out of there. No more contests for the time being. So that's a good start here. But look at the change-up. Norson and Watt inside the showers. Nation should be able to get some information onto the tripwire shortly, but the dark cover will at least be able to keep them at bay for the time being. Slowly starting to creep up towards short. They are going to look to dismantle this tripwire in just a second. The dark cover come out as well. The dash through. And they should be able to get the spike planted pretty easily here, Dion, but it's going to be on Norson and Watt to strike when they choose.
And with no neural theft available as well, there's not really too much information that Norson is going to be able to gather here, and his cage is not really in the perfect position for him to be able to waltz around with as well. So on the back of this recon bolt going out by Scroll, this is where they're going to have to call it go time. Nobody on Paradox getting revealed. I always say the 5 versus 5 scenarios are very difficult in a post plant because everything can get chaotic, and exactly so. The showstopper, it is met with nothing. Now Norson is able to find one. You hear that updraft coming out as well. Exempt does dispatch of Norson. Scroll already on that defuse though. Mitch, he's not going to be sticking it. And now the reveal. Exempt and Delusion, they get it done in the end for Paradox to equalize.
Not foggy-minded at all right now, Delusion. Certainly opposing his username as he is looking clean and crisp, finding a fifth frag for a second round as we move on into the fifth. Paradox tying it up with Mindfreak 2-2. But not only that, Dion, they reset the economy. They drop them to Sheriffs, and hopefully they'll be saying Haw Yi instead of Yee Haw. Asking how they're going. My words aren't even making sense anymore tonight. Maybe this drink is putting me the other way.
My camera is destroyed.
Well, on the outside of that one there, Mitch, you aren't with us tomorrow, so you done take a rest.
Pilsky boy! God, he's hot.
Likewise Nation right now. On the opener. Dispatching of Lakers. Neural theft out as well, revealing some big old positions. Bit of a costly investment though. There's only the pistols at the end of the day from Mindfreak, and the Bucky that has been nerfed. Maybe not into oblivion, but it has been nerfed.
Indy, great openers. Dismantling the defense of B. Now it's going to be a big task onto Pex. Trying to get his way over towards CT. The dark cover will allow some additional time. Watt also can get into a good position here, potentially. Illusion does spot out the information. Gathered. That might actually choose to now force them away. Exhibit goes for the peak. Does actually find the shot. And now, unfortunately, Pex all in his lonesome here.
Yeah, we'll see what he can do with the Sheriff. Maybe find 1 or 2 frags would be well placed in the end. Lots of damage out. Exempt knows that he doesn't want to take that fight anymore, and he's exactly right as you say. He's dinked him, but in this game, the Sheriff cannot be used as a one-shot, unfortunately. Indy closes us out with 3 frags for the 3rd round on Paradox, and now is going to be the time that we see the rifles back in Mindfreak's possession. Though we're not going to be seeing that operator for Lakers, nor are we going to see the Blade Storm, who have a tactical to come through from Mindfreak right now as well. So we'll sit with it a little bit here as they get their things in order.
Having a little bit of a discussion, trying to work out what the goal is. Paradox certainly looking hot early on. You know, this one, I guess you would maybe... Like, it's an upset, certainly, right? But it's not some sort of crazy, never-before-seen opportunity. Mindfreak still do have flaws. They've done well to, you know, obviously back prior to their departure. A little bit of a complacent Sonics were taken to task. We've also seen Mindfreak, you know, really bring it close in several best fives against Order in, you know, some grand finals situations. So, but again, they're only human. And Paradox seem to be taking advantage of that right now. Max cash, almost. Mindfreak do have another buy to get back into it. Pressure's on.
Pressure is definitely on. You would hate to see a world for Mindfreak if you are a fan of theirs. For Paradox to be able to just run away with it from here on out on this attacker's side after they've gotten a little bit of mojo moving in. They are going to be grouping themselves out through long here. Scroll with a bit of a delayed recon bolt as well to gather up some information on Norson's call with this camera elevated up quite nicely. Tripwires down 2, but no real budging from any of the Mindfreak guys over on the A site. They just send in a paranoia to back showers. Nobody peeks on the back of that. Exempt now to try and clear everything over towards this site of B. So Paradox, they've flipped the coin. It's landed on the right side. Now they see what they can do around this side.
No more talk.
Great utility usage there from Norson and also Scroll, but he does get tagged up on the other end by that Hunter's Fury. They're getting aggressive. Oh, Exempt actually lines them up.
The
Boombot did get excited, but apparently not going to be able to find it there. Yeah. Bot stuck. Can't
oh,
connect.
dearie me.
standing.
Okay, Norson. Okay, Norson. Not bad. Good frags. And a third for Mind Freak. The Mr. Consistent, you know, he is the B-site defender there. Gets a little bit of information from the tripwire. Damage through the Cypher cages. And now, as it stands, it is 3-3.
3-3 in the end. I still can't get over that boom bot. It just got stuck on the ramp completely with the shots coming on through. It was kind of unfortunate, but nevertheless, Paradox did what they could try and do in toward that round. It was good usage of the utility, though, from Scroll, the recon bolt, where we see Norson find the first frag in that round, and the Hunter's Fury to get sent in after that as well. So good combinations of Mind Freak on their utility usage. Now they're going to look to do so yet again in amongst this new round. Nation is going to get revealed by that. So a little bit of early info is found out by Mind Freak, but nothing that they can really go up against. They're playing 4 over towards A, one little passive player over at B and Norson there. So they really are just relying upon Paradox to come at them in this round. And I guess rightly so, right? They've got the Showstopper and the Bladestorms to try to entry in with. It's always nice to be welcoming in a bit of a passive nature in this scenario.
Pex sitting on the top. Waiting on in. Exempt is going to be able to get in, but Lakers to deny. Again, it is his territory. And unfortunately, contesting it can be a challenge. Exactly 1 point of HP is all that he has. Nation going to at least take him down through the smoke there. And Delusion all on his lonesome. 1 versus 4. Shockdart's going to take him down to 1 point of HP. Yeah, again, we're seeing it double up. But look, back to back. Now much cleaner rounds from Mind Freak. They take the lead back. They put the foot down. And yeah, look. Starting to show themselves again. This is what's happened in both of these games, right? Little bit of early control. Few rounds thrown into the mix from the quote-unquote underdog. And then it's pretty much just the opposing team in the, you know, sort of higher seed saying, all right, we've worked them out now. But with that being said, it's still early days. Very, very early days. We're only into round number 8 now. Plenty more opportunity for Paradox to fight back.
100% in that one. A bit of a reveals out from the recon bolts as Indy does perch up on the line. The operator on the attacker's side. Maybe this would look to catch Mind Freak off guard, but Lakers is going to be lined in on his own in the hookah. So away from the Bladestorm. Pain Shell's in. He doesn't really need to budge too far from them, but his teammate certainly does. Lakers still posted up on the line. I don't really see him budge. He really wants to find his prey, but as he moves away, Exempt looks to shoulders it out. Talk about the unluckiness. There's a legging to come through, though. Exempt has to back away from those paint shells. Lakers still does actually have his own Tailwind available and drops a Cloudburst. Now manages to have 1 shot stolen away. Tailwind's away, giving a good impression. Oh! In the round is Pex, however. Able to find 2.
Showstopper. Oh, no, never mind. I've got the 2 ults confused. It's the Bladestorm actually coming out on the side of Paradox. Waiting to see if anything will present itself. Of course, the remaining members just sitting in towards the garden. Unfortunately, Delusion not quick enough. Lakers still holding on to that line. So far, Pex already with 2. And with 30 seconds remaining, they need to get a little bit of a wiggle on. Lakers will get the Cloudburst up. At least keeping them at bay for the time being. Not one of firing warning shot. And in the end, there it is. It does connect through the dark cover, and the rotate will come out through the teleporters. But it might be a little bit too late. They've run out of time here. Yeah.
Yep. No time in the end. See, Lakers do manage to pick up that shot through the smoke, the dark cover rather, and he did get revealed out by the recon bolt, you know, but he uses his Cloudburst. He airbends that around to be able to at least make sure that there's no extra pings coming around. Very nicely done in the end. Illusion will look to survive. He also takes Scroll as a consolation prize at the end of the round. Mind Freak, they inch in front yet again. Both teams looking to reinvest. Of course, Indy still holding over that operator into this fresh round as well. We'll give hopefully an opening pick for them, but we'll have to wait and see on that regard. From the shadows, Showstopper, nearly available for Mind Freak, and same can be said for Nation on that neural theft over on Paradox's side.
Jet Air Nation, Phoenix Fire Nation. God, I missed that
Breach
show.
Earth Nation.
Watch it, I think. Yep, exactly.
And then what are we missing?
Water.
Water, Sage, Ice.
Yeah,
it works.
Sage pretty close. Yep, certainly does work out. I remember seeing some like little video that was made on it. I definitely think there can be some.
I remember that.
Cool design.
I remember it.
think the funniest thing is like the little kitten that's standing up that has
Standing ahead.
all the character utility on it. That was one of the funniest things I saw. Good content to come out.
Delusion's done some great damage in the ward this round. He already dinked Pex very early on, and now he's just found his first frag for his side. Exempt is going to be seeing what he can do over at the B side. He's going to catch Scroll looking to rotate as well. You've got to be really careful when you do look to disconnect from a site, as now, in just that, we see the TP from Shadows over towards the B site. They can look to get the plant down, and Lakers has managed to bring out the Blade Storm here. So we'll see what he's going to be able to do. But Nation, Sixth Sense that Awesome was there as he finds him. 2-player advantage for Paradox.
Nightmare's over.
I know exactly where you are.
Last player standing.
Time is ticking. Unfortunately, Nation is going to be the man to find a third again. Super clean as Paradox. Look, man, you know, we've seen them bring it really, really close. And they, despite Mindfreak sort of getting a little bit of pacing behind them from time to time, it has really just been the Paradox pushing back. You know, they're certainly not wanting to let them run away with it. Bind, obviously, very, very attacking sided. That's, oh my god, defending sided. Attacking side is challenging, so it's cool to see that at least they're doing quite well. Exhibit looks to be lagging a little bit right now, though.
Paradox, one step closer here, Mitch, is the thing you can take it off to try to gain an equalization and a respectable scoreline at the half as well. With 5 rounds on the attacker side, nothing to laugh at. And on their merry way, they are certainly looking to be plausible in that statement. 2-player advantage very, very early on. 1:20 to go. Rotations start to come out from Mindfreak 2. Eventually, the spike will be picked up by Nation to make its merry way over towards the site. And now you do sort of think of what can Scroll get done here with his teammate going for a very, very long flank still over at the site. Sorry, it was Nation to pick up the spike. Norse and Nation, both on Cyphers. It's too close.
No, absolutely, but both of them playing really well as well. You know, they've had some consistency, they've had some multi-frags. Impact Station, very, very important in the matchup of Valorant. 4 versus 2. Norson does want to press the narrative, looking to make his way up towards short now. Information gathered. Scroll getting the shock dart in. So it's going to be all a matter of timing here, but it looks like they're actually going to call it now. Not happy with it. No information, no frags. They get the hell out of there. It's going to be a tie-up. Paradox, Dion, they are looking very, very good. The rotation. Indy will go down straight through the teleporter. Nothing else spotted.
And they're just going to see if they can hold on to this weaponry right now for Mindfreak. They would have loved to be able to grab an operator or something to give over towards the hands of Lakers, but for naught, they're not going to be able to do so right now, and they're not even going to be able to reinvest into one, unfortunately. So the games that we've seen previously, Mitch, definitely a one-sided affair. This one, I mean, come to expect not so much, and we do very relish in that factor, right? We love the close game. We love the high atmosphere and the high octane players that come around it, and it also gives a good chance as well for us to kind of see what the new additions on Paradox are able to give out. You know, the longer the game, the more rifle rounds you do get out as well, so it gives in really good things.
Revealing area.
So early information to try and be gathered again. This time Watt actually does get spotted out in his homeland of the showers. Lakers trying to see if anything early will spot towards him in this mid location. Nothing as of yet. So still playing it relatively passive. Paradox, happy to see if Mindfreak are going to change up the pace a little bit, try to go for some aggressive control somewhere. But 1:10 left on the clock. Exhibit still waiting outside that dark cover, waiting to see if it will fade. Now they're about to walk on in. Does have the paranoia available, but nothing just yet. So Bombardier to go in. Should be a contest over towards this location shortly.
Pex with the Spectre as well is going to go in, charge in, and able to find Indy. Exhibit. Indy falls after that one. One trade to come out from the side of Paradox, however, everything gets sort of put to a standstill. Watt's position not expected, and whilst he does get revealed from his vault, he is still allowed to fight, and he'll win the duel as well. a Mind Freak to have 4 alive at the closure of the round. As we do move over into the last round of this half, there is going to be enough for the purchase to come through for Paradox as well. So by all means, we could definitely be on for a tied scoreline on the switch up.
It's been a good game so far. No, there's not been sort of too much chaos. There's been some exciting moments come through, some multi-frags, but it's just sort of been relatively consistent. Paradox seem to be, you know, quite switched on as a team, knowing each other's limits and capabilities, and also at least sort of aggressing towards each location in a duo or trio. Exactly the way you like to watch this game be played. Lakers is inside. Hookah once more aggressive. Oh, that's a leg shot onto exempt the collateral damage. Not quite enough. Now Scroll to send the our drone in to try and gather some further information. We'll be not tagging someone over towards long, and 4v4 as it stands.
Hunter's Fury is available for the side of Paradox as well. Maybe they want to utilize it early to get in towards this site. Maybe they want to hold it on for the post plant. Regardless, there's already damage being delivered onto Scroll, and he's very vulnerable. And now they bring it on out as well. Force the frag out as Nation manages to find it. They overlook Pex. That's spike down. Dark cover is going to keep him engaged as well. Has to use his utility now to get out of this location, as he does so quite nicely on those satchels. Can still throw out the paint shells if need be. Spike can be recovered from Paradox as well. And what do they choose to do here? Camera out. Even if they went over towards A, still got all of the deployment forces. That is a sharp shot from Pex. They do have over here, you know, Norson with his trapwires and his Cypher abilities. You got from the shadows as well, in case they want to quickly get over there to assist in what. The plant looking to go down now.
One enemy remaining.
Norson brings it down to just one. The Nation equipped, absolutely equipped. Very, very sharp here. Has to recover the spike. Does have the neural theft.
10 seconds left.
No, it's just trying to get this plant now. Norson, if the timing does vary, but it's all gonna be. Oh my word! A Sixth Sense doesn't need the neural theft because Nation, his head is on a swivel. 360 view, and he will be able to take it up to 6. But Paradox, this guy is incredible.
Just got to write that one down there for a potential interview if we do get someone over towards Paradox. The 4K clutch in the round for Nation. A brilliant 180 flick to absolutely eradicate the last player there for Mind Freak as well. You know, you look at that situation, definitely bodies were available to neural theft out and get that information in the end. But I guess, and not seeing the peek out through short or through U-hole, you know, the only other position that they could potentially be is right behind you. So able to rapidly get that one out and tie us up at the half. Very, very well placed.
Somebody out.
Oh man, it's just basically the Nation show right now for Paradox. We're seeing some consistency from the rest of the players, but I just feel like the impact was bloody nuts coming out from Nation time and time again. And you know, on a attacking sided Cypher, pretty good to get it done too. And that's the proof right there. Proof in the pudding. It doesn't have to be what role you play to be the high fragger. You can still have impact on a Sentinel, on a controller, doesn't matter.
I want pudding now.
Why are you always thinking about food at this time?
Because you always mention it
earlier. Yeah, because
yo, true.
I love it, right?
Lakers, the attempts to get quickly in towards U-hole is going to be mitigated by the tagging of the camera. As we're in a 5 versus 5 post plane on this pistol round, Lakers starts things off by finding exempt Indy in for the trade. And this is where you really need to see Paradox get on the board, and they're looking to do so quite nicely as well. Mitch 4 versus 2 scenario. What with this frenzy? Can't get it all done. Delusion to get that one. And this down a scroll. There's the first. Traded out by a swing of Indy. That's Paradox. Playing in a pretty clean retake.
Thanks.
The opening rounds. The pistol picked up. As you mentioned, clean, 3 alive. And that will take them in towards success. Or at least an early start on this half. Obviously, they do have to get through the next 2 rounds. Of course, a purchase here, bonus into the next. Whether or not Paradox want to try and take them to task. We do see a Sheriff come out for what? And the Light Shield too. Maybe not. Good thing is, imagine in this game if he couldn't sell. think a lot of purchases would be changed up. I suppose it's cool though. Like, I actually do like the element of it. Like when there's always that miscomm.
Nah, 100%. Is into really good, and like the dropping feature as well to use your credits. You don't have to just purchase it yourself and drop it on the floor for them to be able to gather. In a ranked circumstance, you know, someone would steal your gun. That always drove me up the wrong way. That was very annoying.
Stealing the orb. Paint shells back and forth. Keeping them at bay. Exempt. Let's get the dink up. Nicely done on the judge. Illusion. Trying to defend as well. Lakers has already actually found his way into the middle of the site. Sitting in the cloudburst. Will he swing? He will, but it won't quite connect. All in a what? Just going to try and get the orb to ensure the From the Shadows is available earlier. And that's about it for now.
Pretty clean from Paradox. Only dropping one player at the end. And I guess on the side of Mindfreak, you know, they get that orb on what to at least get one step closer towards an ultimate. You got Lakers, who's 2 away from the Blade Storm. Might want to see him farm it on through. Try to get it out, I guess, in the next round. But this is the quote-on bonus, right? This is where you want to see this one be picked up freely by Mindfreak, or as best effort to be able to do so they don't have to try and balance everything for a shaky purchase in the next round. But let's see what they're going to be able to throw at us. A 4-player deployment over at the A site Paradox, as they actually are going to pull one player back over towards B now. Rightly so, because that's where the forces of Mindfreak are swaying over towards at the moment.
Nation. Getting the utility down a little bit later. Camera has been destroyed here. Exhibit, though, rotating up to try and support his boy nice and early. We'll have the Paranoia available to try and support if any pressure does start to amount towards this site. It looks like it will very, very soon. I'm liking the position of Norson, though, Neon. Might actually be able to catch off something a little bit later, but now they do move on up. Exhibit, firing a couple of warning shots. Nothing yet to be found. Norson, this is exactly what I spoke about. There's that captive. Does pick up one. Still inside the position, though, which I don't think he's actually spotted out anything. Is exempt, but unfortunately only with the judge. It's going to make it challenging on the top.
Oh, he didn't finish the kill.
That's one, but yeah, exactly right. That's a second, but it's all on the Exhibit. 4 HP, it's not enough.
Oh, could have been a little bit more shaky there for the side of Mindfreak, as you see Pex elevated up on that blocks. He wasn't able, he isn't finishing off that frag. He switched over towards a new target a little bit too early, but I guess at the end, it doesn't really matter. They got the round in 3 alive to carry over into this new round, but it does put on to the prowess Paradox that they have the weapons in this one as well. And I guess at least for Mindfreak in victory in that one and juggling up the money, they are able to get a proper purchase again in toward this one, but it'll definitely be a little bit more hurting for them if they drop another player or two. Regardless, they are 1 behind now, looking to equalize. Paradox on these defenses. They've got, I mean, the 3-player deployment over towards A, 2 over towards B. Just really playing, a bit of a default right now, holding back, not looking to get too aggressive together, throwing out a little bit of their util on that boombot, see if it can spot out any information. And they are going to be bringing Indy over towards B early as well.
Orb gathered over towards that long position. Exempt still managing to maintain this early control. Mindfreak obviously knocking at the door of Paradox. So cold outside, needing some shelter.
Deploying drone.
Feeling the pressure that Paradox are starting to put onto them. But at least, again, they're a consistent team. And that's the main factor, right? If you're a team that is, I guess, widely considered sort of, ranked 2/3 in the region, and you're getting taken to task by one of the newer entrants, it's certainly a big deal. Mindfreak are very good on bind, and
Seconds left.
in these best of ones, anything can happen. Just like a 1-for-1 trade. Down to a 4-on-4. 20 seconds left, though, on the clock down. They got to move quickly.
Indy could updraft here, trying to deny it if possible, but he's not going to be able to do so. They're going to choose to play into the retake. He's got Hunter's Fury available for Scroll as well, so it really is going to come down to what Paradox are going to be able to force out into all the retake. A bit of a reveal on the Recon Bolt, but nothing to Dyer, clearing out everything. What manages to dispatch of Indy. They need to tap out this spike to maybe force out the Hunter's Fury nice and early. There's a bolt to come on through as Delusion finds Peck. Gonna be on a What to swing on out. Norson found one too. Now onto Nation, and I don't think we're gonna be seeing the big Nation play like we saw at the last round, the last half, and no, indeed, we are not. It's 8-8 now between these two.
There we go, collecting it. Managing to at least keep their composure, tying it up. It's nice to see that we have a much closer game right now, Dion. Very, very tight. Lots of things happening, but I can't help but think if this was a different day and Nation wasn't doing what he is, it might be a different story. However, now that I look at it, there is a lot of frags coming up and out, so at least every single member sort of stepping up to the plate when required. Lakers also having a good one as usual, but we're going to have to see the aggressive players come out from him. He's going to have to try and ensure that control is solidified of U-Haul. Obviously, taking advantage of the jet kit. It's nice to see that there is, you know, duelists in the region that do actually create the space, not narrow it.
Towards the side mix we do go. Lakers able to open up the bag and find some goodies. 2 quick headshots in, forcing a third on Delusion now as well, as the plant will go down. It's this deco. I really want to see something to come through from Paradox here, but Exempt is going to be held at bay by this trapwire. Let's see if he can get over it maybe, or be forced to destroy it. Norson is going to swing. Going to get dinked, but he will find the frag in the end. Now it is just on to Nation.
Put in this position a couple of times now, but a clean round, of course, for Mind Freak is what they're hoping for. Stacking up their economy now, looking good. Great shot. Can't quite find Pex. He was low enough to be taken down, but only losing the one limb of Exodia in Mind Freak here. Paradox are going to be fully purchasing into this one. Indy with the operator to come out. It's time to see what they can do.
Definitely is a bit of a wake-up call for Paradox here, because situations like these is where you can kind of lose a little bit of a grasp in amongst the game. Indy is losing a grasp on the right buttons to push on his keyboard, and we'll get it in the end to elevate himself quite freely, not have to deploy upon at the updraft to get up there. Or if you're raised, your satchel, Omen Shroud step. Regardless, operator's in play. Camera's going to spot out the Aldrone here. Going to have to get destroyed at the end. Hunter's Furies are both going to get brought out. Oh god, who's going to win this one? Delusion is not going to get any tags, but Exempt's pushed up all the way. And Norson is caught in reload.
So, Mind Freak getting taken down a little bit. Repositioning. Obviously, that's the thing, you know, even being at a disadvantage. We still do have Pex alive, Showstopper available from the shadows, also there for what? They're actually starting to pull a little bit of a rotate there, so watch, not sure what information that they've gathered. Nation doesn't spot anything out either. There's a tripwire being destroyed now. The call is to come over for that rotate. Showstopper available, will be sent out. Where's he going to look towards? No! It actually does clip on towards the wall, so that is a key ultimate utilized a little bit too early in the piece. Now, trying to defend it in 3 and 5. It's going to be a challenge. Delusion with the shock dart to open up.
Oh, it's perfect paranoia, but what is able to find Exhibit through the obscuring of that vision. Brawl can't get anything done as it is all down to what? Getting a little bit of damage through an Indy. Build up some ults as well, and most important thing for that round to tie us up.
God, this is a good game. It's nothing like super flashy or very, very high voltage. It's just very tit for tat. Paradox pull ahead. Mind Freak have an answer for it. I think we do see, really need to see Mind Freak start to push forward as best as they can. If they allow any sort of stack up of back-to-back rounds for Paradox, that's where it may end. We are moving into the wee hours of this match. Of course, only needing 4 more apiece for the game to be ended. Otherwise, we could be staring down that overtime.
again.
Early stages of this new round, a minute to go rather. So there's no frags yet being felt out across the server. Mindfreak just getting everything happening. I haven't really seen any of those one-way smokes go up on top of that double stack box that you sometimes tend to see on this map here. It's been just kind of pretty straightforward Valorant going on between these two, right? No extremely fancy things. And I guess in a mirror match and a very stable, early explored comp in Valorant between these two guys, everything is kind of tried and tested. And for Exempt to be able to find two there on the showstopper does elevate things quite nicely. Lakers finding the first frag on the round for his team, but they haven't got a lot of control or dink for his efforts as Lakers gets out Delusion, and Exempt is now on for that 4K. 20 seconds to go. They're not going to give Lakers a chance here. They're going to play safely in the 1 versus 3.
Main factor is he's just on the other side, but he actually does manage to find it. There's a world beyond where he actually wins this if he's ready for the flank, but it will be Exempt. Lakers does bait out the shot from Indy on the operator, but Exempt very, very nice in that round. So a good effort regardless. But it is going to be Paradox finding 10 damage dealt to their economy, meaning that they will have to reinvest. But they do have the operator, they've got the Phantom, and they've got the cash to do it.
Got the cash to do it in the end. They're going to have to do it again. Try and get one step closer to the victory mark. We haven't really seen too much substance actually come through from Scroll in this game as well. You know, seen a couple of taggings from the recon bolts and trying to get a couple of Hunter's Furies out. We've seen some kills from them, but apart from that, no real kill department shenanigans happening there. It's just been what assists can he try and get on through, and for the team to be able to, you know, try and sleuth things together now on this attacker's side, it does feel like Paradox are just getting the real early information on out. And now that that camera does get destroyed, they got the paranoia out, the cage as well to feel some of the vision where Nation is going to attempt a little bit of a shoot back, but he'll fall back. Minute 15, everyone alive again, and it's just, you know, similar sort of things, Mitch. We're not seeing anything too fancy. It's just very straight, very readable kind of game right now.
Yeah, just trying to see if anything does sort of slip up on either side and, you know, putting themselves in the position to capitalize on mini mistakes, but the teams aren't really making either of them. It sort of, you know, relies on the individual players to try and gather some additional control, especially what we're seeing on this attacking side. Mindfreak, unless a player does get the big early impact frag, but most of these rounds are really going down to the wire in the sense that we're dropping down to sort of, you know, 20, 10 seconds before the spike plant does go down, which is not something you always see. You know, Valorant has a tendency to either be a extremely quick game or a one that drags out a little bit. There we go. Lakers trying to get up and close and personal, but only nearsighted from that paranoia. It's going to be Exempt to find the opener. North's good for one on the trait though, back down to a 4-on-4.
And the player is going to be looking to go down as well. Mindfreak really leading it down to the last timings of this round. We've seen a lot of situations like this as well, where they've just been absolutely destroyed by Paradox in these sort of 4v4, 5v5 areas. So they really have to make sure that they're just finding these frags as Paradox start to feel out this site and going for the retake. Dark covers will be laid down already. So they're going to have to wait for them to maybe, if they've got another one soon. Cloudbursts are going to go out though. A tap on with the spike, a recon bolt through as well. It's actually into the smoke, I do think right now. Or maybe it was destroyed, I didn't catch it. Indy with some blades out. Indy with some blades. 3 Nation to close it. On was the defuse. That's 11 for Paradox.
Very, very nicely done. Indy has been stepping up to the plate indeed. 11 rounds, 2 ahead. Starting to really close the gap on this victory. Imagine Paradox going into the upper bracket and sending Mindfreak down to go for the gauntlet run so early on. Lakers 22-17, yet still feeling the pressure that Paradox continue to apply. Maybe they don't even look for a reinvestment here either. Pex, toying with it. I don't even know what they're going to make the decision for here. What potentially is even going to play for it without shield, which I guess is more viable in this game.
Good allocation of the cross set to destroy the dart nice and early. Doesn't get any immediate reveals, and it wouldn't have really been able to be capitalized upon if you're Paradox too, unless you swung out towards long. That's not going to have a Hunter's Fury to be able to utilize the Delusion, but you know who does? It's Scroll. He needs to be able to find something here, and that's just a really unfortunate circumstance. Delusion finds Lakers there, and not even the kill to come out through the Hunter's Fury. As I mentioned a bit earlier, Scroll having a bit of a rough game right now, as they do concede over the first frag.
Yeah, well, there you go. That's the big fragger in Lakers taken out. No more openers for this man. It's going to fall into the shoulders or the lap of Pex. Exempt jump spots. Does try to go for some information. Pex definitely would have heard that one. Obviously, Delusion very, very low. Nation a warning shot. Nothing yet to connect, however. It does look like they are going to make their way over towards this position. And once again, it's actually going to be Dawson this time around to try and catch the rotate off as they do go for the teleport, but no one's going to be doing that. Scroll and what to open up Theon. They bring it back to their favor, and now Nation pressure is going onto him. And hang on, they go for the teleport here.
Yep. They already had Northern who pushed through towards spawn to be able to find some of that early information. However, they do lose him now, and it still is a player advantage over for the Mind Freak side, but Pex is going to have to TP. He will maybe look to hold down a flanking position right now. They only knew that there was a couple of players coming in through the defender spawn, and I think maybe Norton pushing out. I know he spotted out the Jet in Indy, but I also think he spotted out Exhibit, so they should know that both of these players are coming in from the flank. What manages to find Indy, and now it is just down to Exhibit. Destruction of the Dark just reveal around the location of where he is. He can get a dark cover on amongst the spike, but he's looking to shed the issue first, and has a bit of an awkward spray there. Scroll, though, manages to find it. As Mind Freak hit double digits.
Okie dokie. So they're not done just yet. Not requiring Lakers to get the job done, which is good to see. Means that Mind Freak is still in a position to turn this one on its head. A couple of rounds is all it's going to take. Best of ones. Remember, Dion, we said it. Anything could happen, and this has proven to be the tightest game of the evening so far. And now Lakers, oh, here we go. This man is on a mission. Potentially, at least. Is it a business or a leisure trip, though? That's what we've got to find out shortly.
Well, if it's a leisure trip, wants to redeem that card to get into the business lounge and just have a smooth sailing adventure. The Paradox, you know that they are going to be the gatekeepers to say no to that. In amongst this dark cover of Delusion, he has to shoot the Boombot as well. Lakers gets on in. Lakers uses one as Delusion uses two. Lakers stronger, it would seem, in that scenario. Indy tries to escape, and he gets punished for it. Exhibit, though, able to find two, making things more interesting in amongst the round. Neural Theft is going to reveal Nation and Exempt off in the distance. Do you save if you're Paradox?
Yeah, that's what I was just about to ask you yourself, Dion. Like, this position, Exempt is actually going to start to rotate around. Clearly, Nation has made the call for it. We'll find out, obviously, the financial situation for these two into the next round as they do drop down out of heaven. Norton a little while away. Exempt does have the showstopper, and now it's actually going to be the double-up trade. Who's going to shoot it first? It's going to be back and forth. They do go for the 1-for-1, but Nation has to push up now on the other side. Is going to be Norton. He's a little while away, but look at how close and personal what is. He just has to try and get out of there. Are they going to go for the swing? It doesn't look like it. It will just be the TP out to save his life. Man, tired again. Mind Freak, you love to see it.
Back and forth in the showstoppers there as they both get pulled out was kind of funny to see, but, you know, Mind Freak, I guess they did what they needed to do. Lakers opening up with that Judge. Makes things aligned. They get the plant down. Again, I don't know what it is about this match right now, Mitch. It's like you mirror match on your agents. Pretty straightforward things. Everyone just kind of getting out their utility. It's either destroyed or it's not, and then that reveals positions, and then you've got some swings happening, some crossfires being down, some multi-frags as well, and then they get punished on out. It's, you know, pretty just clean Valorant coming on through, and now this is dirty from Lakers. Very close, waiting patiently for the team to push at him. It's not going to be, you know, a 2-bullet ace or anything, but could be on for a multitude of frags.
Oh!
Never mind.
He's been denied. It's funny, right? Like, it's so hard to counter him, but at times it can really do it. That's where Lakers obviously thrives in, you know, these close quarters maps, split, bind, can make it work, even, you know, on the close quarters of Ascent at times, but obviously that one is a little bit more challenging with the open mid area.
Pistol to Paradox here, Mitch. They are going to go in with this half buy to see if they can make it a bit of a thrifty as some shots again come on out. Exhibit manages to find 2 in the round, but now it's Watt and Norson to roar back and maybe to look to close out the round. 30 seconds to go. They can go over towards A if they want to. Another cage to be deployed here as Nation just reveal the Vandal is in the defender side spawn, and they are in fact going to go towards the TP. That is going to send Nation quickly over towards the other side. He could look to head some of them off.
Yeah.
So let's see what he's going to be able to do. The dark cover, though, that is a good vision blocker.
Oh, man. Nation can do this. He's got an opportunity. Spots out the info. Knows it's got to be planted in this particular location, but apparently, what? Stepping up. Looking for the 4K. Very, very crispy in this round. He's going to swing it out. He's going to get it too. Look at that. This man, he puts up such big numbers on bind from time to time. He's usually, you know, heavily sort of attacking sided, and we are clearly seeing that right now. But yeah, huge plays. What, getting the job done, taking the team of Mindfreak to that final round. Everyone in the server stepping up to do what they need. And is this going to go to overtime, or are we going to see Mindfreak move in the upper bracket?
I don't know, man. It's going to be an interesting one, isn't it? Hey, Indy's got out that operator. Doesn't have the Blade Storm behind it, though, in case things go awry on a shot. Got more ultimates, though, leaned over towards Paradox's side, and he got exempt as well. Looking to get this Showers Orb. The Boombot to be destroyed. He's going to get some shots out through the smoke, and he's just done Scroll dirty. Again, Scroll not really having a bright game.
Disadvantage on a singular player again. Paradox have done well to find these openers, and it's been usually Mindfreak sort of challenging it from behind. Allowing themselves to feel the pressure slightly, but thriving amongst it. Lakers wants to get his way back up short. That dark cover is only going to hold him down for a little while. 3 members stacked up inside the U-Haul position, or just around it. Ready to go. From the shadows, does come out, but it's immediately destroyed. So nothing else will be gathered from that one. Now the pressure does start to amount. Lakers caught up, and Nation will take him down. This could go to overtime, Dion.
30 seconds left.
Yeah, it definitely does start to feel like it. Mindfreak, there's situations when the time ticks away very, very far. They haven't really worked out for them, though Pex manages to find another one in amongst the U-Haul position. Now as the spike goes down, there's a big old reveal on a Norson. Takes 80 points damage to his body on the Hunter's Fury. Watt primed and loaded with the Paranoia. Needs to find this kill to the heavens. Gets Delusion. Norson gets Exhibit. This is strugglesome now as it's all on to Indy on that operator. I said that the Blade Storm couldn't assist him because he doesn't have it earlier on. Mid 1 versus 2. Cloud bursts out. Tailwind trying to become the airbender that we know he needs to be. Dark cover as well. Needs to tap on the spike. This is so difficult. Looking to tick it halfway, but no. Norson says no. And that is a massive hold from Mindfreak. It was just huge. They needed that. They just bring it out of nowhere.
Well, that happened many a time that we saw, right? You know, despite being at the player advantage, 2-3 rounds, they were winning, you know, 3v5s and really able to bring it forward. So Mindfreak, excellent stuff that we've witnessed from them in the server. But the same could be said for Paradox, man. I don't want to take anything away from them at all. To be able to take one of the giants of our region up to a 13-11 scoreline is pretty phenomenal. So obviously a big shout out to Mindfreak. I think this would have been an eye-opening game for them to understand sort of what's coming at them, especially in the mirror matchup too, you know. But look, yeah, fantastic stuff. And I'm sure we'll be hearing from one of the players from Mindfreak very, very soon.
Yeah, could have definitely gone to overtime as well there. You know, in that last round, you do see Paradox having, you know, the sort of feelings of what they need to do there. They got good usage out of the trap wire from Nation to be able to find the pick on toward Lakers, but in amongst the Paranoias going out and everything as well, you know, Plant goes down and out of nowhere, really, Mindfreak just looked to hold W and force the issue in those frags, catch Paradox off guard when they don't have any real time to sort of situate themselves and look to go into toward that retake there. So it was very well played out by them. And I do believe now that we do have one of the players over on the Mindfreak squad in the interview.
We do. Lewis, how you doing, buddy? Congratulations on the win, my friend. That one was tight.
Oh yeah, that was a little bit tight. Bit of a sweat at the end.
Well, look, it was actually on yourself, mate. We saw you stepping up to the plate with that big 4K sort of in the dire time of the rest of the game and also to close it out. You're looking really, really sharp. Your T side on Omen, so good to watch. But, man, look, how's the team been going so far? You guys have had a lot of games on recently.
Yeah, we've been feeling really good. Like, leading into this match, it's a BO1. We knew it could definitely be close. We didn't think it would get that close. But, yeah, besides that game, we've been feeling pretty strong. But at the end of the day, it's best of one. They played really well today. Yeah, it is what it is.
So, hello, by the way.
Hi.
On the first half, it was 5-6, your guys' favor. Nation whips out a massive 180 from the Paradox side. What were your guys' reactions to that?
Yeah, we weren't tilted about it, but it's like we played it horribly. I feel we just all took 1v1s. We didn't play how we should have. We almost gifted it to him. Like, props to him. He played it perfectly against us. But as soon as we lost that, I tried to keep everyone focused. Like, it happens, It's like, can't get tilted over one round and give like the whole map away. But yeah, we refocused, and we could definitely still pull it back even after losing that round.
One of the things we've actually noticed from yourself, guys, obviously the Mindfreak roster has been together for a little while now. Obviously, Norson, sort of the most recent addition, but consistency seems to be key. You guys are contesting up towards the top now. You're getting so close to taking down Order. Do you guys think you can actually do it in this, second stage of the Valorant Oceanic Tour?
We can we've definitely got it in us to do it, but I still feel like we're a little bit inconsistent. Like, we're still beating the teams that we should be beating, but it's even these teams like Paradox, even though we're winning, it's a lot closer than I feel like it should be. And we just need to, if we want to beat Order convincingly, we need to stop making these little mistakes, giving up 1v3s, over peaking. Like, versing Order, they'll punish that every single day. And once we establish and get that consistency of not making these little mistakes, I think we can definitely take them on and beat them.
Alrighty, before we let you go, you guys are going to be playing the winner against Wildcard and Kanga. Who would you rather play and why?
I want to verse Wildcard. Fine, because even though we've placed top 2, I feel like there's a lot of discussion of who's contending for that top 2 spot. Even though Wildcard's been a bit shaky, there's a lot of doubters still thinking they're better than us. And I feel like if we can finally verse them, it will really determine who is that second best going into this next stage.
Yeah, man, look, they have been up and down. They've sort of been changing their agents up and everything like that. But that'd be super exciting to watch. So that game's going to be coming up next. But Lewis, before you go, mate, any shout outs you want to give or any comments to make to the players watching at home?
Yeah, shout outs to Logitech and our coach Arkin. He's pretty hot. And shout out to my cat. Hi.
Love to see it. Good man. But look, we've just had What on the line. Obviously, that is a bit of a change up. Of course, we've seen Mindfreak get taken very, very close to task in a 13-11 position. So we're going to come into our final best of one of the night shortly. I do remind you guys as well, though, that of course we do actually have that lower bracket match being played onto the one of the other streams as well. So LPL_Valorant, of course, will be able to be brought to you by Digital. I think actually we've got Minimize as a guest on there as well, Dion. So that's obviously something that you can watch in and amongst the break, which is not up just yet. Dion, give us a bit of an idea of what we're sort of expecting to come out from Kanga versus Wildcard. That one should be spicy, right?
Oh, but even before we get onto that one, Mitch, over in that lower bracket match that you did mention there, they've actually had one of the maps already been played through because that is a BO3, right? So for the people that are just here,
yes.
We currently do see the Dire Wolves have 13 forwards straight out of the zoo on Ascent as their first opener, and they're currently playing on Haven.
Very, very big stuff, all guys. Make sure you do jump into the other channel. Give Digital a kiss for us. We are going to be taking that short break, though, now. Before we do dive into the final best of one of the night, thank you so much to everyone for sticking around with us for now. Wildcard and Kanga, just around the corner.
I just time traveled. Ah, today's a big day for past me. He just got the latest Vodafone broadband with super Wi-Fi. Wow. Which finally means Wi-Fi in all 4 corners of the house. What? Even there? I've got Wi-Fi in the garage. Yeah, we do. See ya. Oh, it's still in the garage. Yeah. Super Wi-Fi. Wall-to-wall Wi-Fi guaranteed.
gentlemen, we are back for what will be the final best of one of our Valorant Oceania tour for 2021. The opening night, 4 lots of best of 4s. Just before, if you only have just tuned in, we got to speak to Watt after he did manage to lead his team to take down, it was Paradox, 13-11. Closest match of the night that we've had so far, Dion.
Yeah, indeed so. And now we go around the corner into our next one. And the final one, as you do mention, to see who Mindfreak is going to be playing up against in the later stages of this bracket is going to be Wildcard versus Kanga. And we do have some roster changes coming through for one of them as well that maybe some people aren't aware of.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's roll through Wildcard first. Obviously a team that we all know and love, as spoken about with what, there's a big contest between who is the premier team. Wildcard, their results lately, not exactly proving that. They've got a fantastic bit of capacity behind them. And look at this roster. I mean, Infrequent, RDW, Ninum, Swirl, Noz, all excellent players, fantastic. But yeah, they need to start to make their way towards consistency. We keep seeing changes in agents, who's picking what. There's just so much diversity, and I mean, whilst that can be a good thing of picking up different agents between different maps, sometimes it can get a little bit over the top.
Now, 100%, and of course with these guys, we do say farewell to Wizard for the time being. Some things that we won't dive too deep into, but it does mean we are going to have Noz being brought into the mix, which kind of begs the question for me, right? Who's leading these guys?
Yeah, no, exactly. It would be interesting. Like, I guess, Infrequent has the experience to do so, but wanting to sort of just play a little bit more free. I don't think Swirl, Ninum, or RDW would be. Like, it is an interesting one, so maybe we'll ask that question in the player interview after. So let's bring it now into, of course, the opposing team. That's going to be Kanga, a team that we've seen do some good work recently. Lukey, Greg, Clutchy, Koro, and Sicko.
Asking Wildcard in the player interview afterwards, Mitch, does mean that would be your prediction for this game, because Kanga could be able to best them tonight. We'll have to wait and see, as we do have the boys on the screen. Bar Sicko, and it does lead in for some good things to be witnessing. But of course, we are going to see Clutchy. I guess, again, this is the kind of team that does change up a little bit in who they are going to be playing on as well, right? So, I mean, depending on the map, we could have just different agents. It's too much to kind of dive into what.
Yeah, best of ones certainly bring up some exciting things across the board. But, look, this one, a bit more straightforward to what we know. It's Lukey at the helm on that Sentinel. Greg usually sort of picking up that breach and everything along those lines. And yeah, look, Clutchy, the sharp man. He is one of the players that makes some very over-aggressive decisions, but also at the same time can be rewarded for it. And Sicko, he's the recent movement over from actually Wildcard into this roster now. So wanting to try and best it, but let's check out the head-to-head. Obviously, the two players that will be focused on right now. It's actually going to be Infrequent up against Greg.
Yeah, so these guys both most likely going to be playing on all the smoking agents. Infrequent on toward that Omen. Greg can transition over onto that Brimstone as well, that sometimes we do see him bring on out on maps such like Split, right? So we're going to be seeing what they are going to do in the change up on that, of course, but we still don't know which map we're going to be going in towards. But I kind of look at these guys and you've got a lot of experience from them, right? Because they, as you know, they've been around in some other tactical shooters for quite a while.
And that's exactly one of the things that still reigns supreme. And it's funny, kind of almost around the world, not in every single region, of course, but so many players coming from that fundamental background in Counter-Strike still remain at the top of Valorant. And whether or not we're going to start to see some changes in, I know that, players from obviously Fortnite, Overwatch, other, Battle Royale games have also come in and tried to sort of up the contest. And, some have stayed around and done really well. Others have sort of faded out. So it's cool to see now that the scene has kind of settled. Everyone does sort of understand what they're doing. But look, guys, unfortunately, we won't actually have a interview from either of these teams. We will try and change that for next time. So, but a massive shout, I guess I do want to actually use some time to say about that is thank you to everyone who has got involved in this so far, whether it be getting their player photos up, obviously adding to, different content posting around the side and the player interviews as well. We've had some really great insights from some players that I've never actually heard before. And obviously having Tux back on camp, damn, beautiful.
Nah, it is really good indeed, isn't it? But I guess as we do look to go in towards it, where are we going to be going? Are we going to see Bind again, or are we going to go somewhere else? I want to see Icebox. It's gone first, and we're going over towards Haven. So it is something different. I like it.
Okay, yeah, Haven, the 3-site map, lots of chaos coming into this one. Obviously, Wildcard, very, very equipped. But I think we actually, the last time we saw these two face off on Haven, wasn't it like a 13-4 like stomp or something like that?
Yeah,
I'm trying to remember this correctly.
Charging out from Kanga, yeah.
That's the one. Yeah, I do remember that. And that's the thing with Kanga, right? They are such an up and down team. We can see them absolutely throw malice at sometimes, but then on the opposing side, they can also absolutely fall by the wayside. It depends on how the individuals are feeling, but it's cool to see that they've still stayed together. Obviously, we have lost Void. The trade has come in for Sicko. But yeah, look, they are a great roster in its own right. And I think this could potentially be one of the spiciest ones of the evening. And again, same as the previous map. It's either going to be a real heavy stomp or a super close and hotly contested game.
And this is going to be the interesting thing, I think, for me as well on this wildcard roster, right? They've been a little bit scrappy coming in toward this area now in the sort of rumblings of the games that they've been playing up to this. Have they decided to sort of relook at their deployment in this game and how they're going to tackling it up? Are they changing their agent pool coming into it? There's some teams now that are starting to adopt a Sky in toward their ranks. And, a Sova, I mean, it come to expect on amongst this map, but you can sometimes even get the Breach in. Remember way back when Dick Stacey used to bring in the Breach on this map. So it kind of is up in the air on sort of what style and what strategies these teams are going to be throwing in toward it. And I really do wonder, for the wildcard sake of things, they're a team that we put right up the top. Are they going to be able to still showcase that they have that?
Was the key to consistency, right? Some people say if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Others try and, see the bigger picture and try and rotate out as many things as possible, never really getting to the end of it. So that's one thing I think sort of we're seeing from Wildcard. They're trying so hard to see who can play what. And sometimes, going back to the roots may actually not be a problem, because that was where we saw them lose, right? They had these really weird agent selections a little while ago, but we won't dive into it too much, guys, because we are about to head on into the game. Let's move into Haven. It is, again, the map with 3 sites, and that does lead up for very, very open and early aggressive duels coming out from both of these teams. Whether you're attacking or defending, it doesn't always matter, but it is obviously the final best of one of the evening. This will be number 4, Valorant Oceania Tour 2021, stage number 2. We're moving into the hype train now. Let's roll into Haven, Dion. Kanga versus Wildcard.
I like that it's a new map. I like that it's not just going back towards Bind in this one. I'm actually kind of surprised that there was no Ascent to be thrown into the mix, as that sort of being the map that is in the straightforward area. But for right now, Wildcard on that defensive side, Kanga on the offensive side, both teams opting to deploy in toward the Astra. You got the Phoenix to come through from Clutchy as the solo duelist on the side of Kanga there. Still got the Sova, the Cypher from both sides, and you got, of course, the Raze over on Wildcard bringing in that second duelist. So we're going to have to see what everybody wants to bring up nice and early. For Sicko, he is looking to dodge out this gravity well that does make him vulnerable, so has to be really careful, because that's big old damage if he gets tagged.
Absolutely, a little bit of vulnerability showing. Creeping on up. Clutchy might be able to try and take this one. Obviously, the run it back, and they're needing 6 orbs. Able to get it up nice and regular. Lots of control can be established by this one. Just waiting patiently, though. Looks like they are a bit of a stalemate right now. 3 members stacked from Wildcard over towards this A site. Thinking back, a lot of the things we do see is control towards B, but leaving down that Cypher tripwire on the front of the site might be the catch-off item. RDW has actually dropped down the Cypher cage. Might have to redeploy it shortly, but he is spotted up by Clutchy early on.
One of the biggest things in this as well is RDW actually being on the Cypher is something that has been a very long time since I have seen, though. Hey, like, you look at Ascent, he looks to bring up the Sage. We've seen him jump on the Raze before, on the Split and everything, so it is very difficult, or very different rather, on the deployment here, and also infrequent, being back on the Duelist instead of in the smoking, because I mean, Noz on the smoke, just come to expect that one. Very, very different. Post-plant though, Mitch, just we get into the rumblings of the B site. 2 frags, 3 frags to 1.
And they bring this back. Good position. Great lurk over the back from Greg, taking down the Astra of Noz. Now Sicko also to drop Ninham. Greg looking good here. All into RDW. Runs out of bullets, is low HP, but he's actually got to swing around the corner. Let's pick up the Ghost, taps onto the defuse, spots at the toes of Sicko. But unfortunately, he sees head and does take it off. Drops down RDW. And the opening round found by Kanga, but a hotly contested one at that, Dion.
And another thing, actually, Swirl. being put on toward the Sova. This is just a completely different playstyle, like looking at it on paper from Wildcard right now, because you've got sharp gamers across the board, right? It is always the thing of who do you place onto what agent. And I mean, they have rumbled it up. Ninim is going to be back on the Jet. I do remember talking to RDW a little bit ago, saying that they've taken Ninim off the Jet and they're switching it up. So it's kind of interesting that they do go back on toward it. I guess maybe one thing that could be considered is that Wizard isn't here to be able to assist on that Killjoy department and everything. So maybe that there does change up what Wildcard are really wanting to do. You know, maybe limping a little bit. We'll have to see how Noz kind of forms in toward this roster. But for right now, we've seen farewell to Koro, farewell to Sicko, and Clutchy. He's found Ninim. Clutchy's found a second one into Noz, single-handedly opening up this C site.
Spike a little while away. Does have to pick up Swirl. It's on the other side. Firing a cheeky little warning shot. There's been some good damage coming out from Wildcard at least so far. Infrequent. Obviously very, very sharp with that Sheriff. Trying to go for a shot to the back of sight. Clutchy just tucked in. Information will be gathered in just a second from that dart. Now Clutchy has to try and get away from that location. He will be tagged up extremely low. This is still a somewhat winnable prospect. There we go. Frag in from Swirl. But good trade coming out. Now all they have to do is line up. Oh, the timing unfortunately doesn't favor Infrequent. His crosshair was still over towards that side. It might have paid off for him, but good damage. Means that Kanga goes into the bonus with a little bit of I suppose, an under-equipped buy. As we're going to see Wildcard fully charge up. Swirl with the Odin. Okay. I mean, it's usual on the Sova, but Haven? I guess so. Playing Garage, maybe.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see what they're going to want to do out. We know that the Phoenixes on this map can try and just farm those orbs, right? Get the one time and time again over towards A long, or maybe you see the Jet look to do so to get the blades up. You can even see the Sova do so on the back of the Recon and get the Hunter's Fury. It is very, very plausible, but I guess that's where Astra kind of changes things, right? If you go to get that orb, you can just have a star there, a gravity well, and it'll give you a little bit of sense of pressure over towards that area. So on the back of that, you see the pressure from Clutchy here on the run it back. Does get damaged up a little bit, but he's not going to be able to find any frags behind it.
Cheeky from Noz sitting inside that Nebula, looking to spot out onto him now. Infrequent does peek around the corner. We'll have a little slow orb to try and deny. Lukey and Greg opening up really well here. Sicko to find one as well. Taking down very, very low, 30 points of HP, but it is going to be Ninim getting the entry back. Plenty of time to try and find their way back in. Spike only just going down, but there's the neural theft. Should give the information away quickly. Swirl, Ninim need to pick up the pace and get their way out CT together. Try and isolate these members. Lukey holding the line is going to fall. 2-on-2 now, Dion. Winnable.
I don't think that's where the dart was intended to go. Swirl might be a little bit new towards the server right now, but as they do get on toward the defuse, they're now off it because of the gravity well. Ninim good charge on towards Sicko. 3 in the round, looking for the 4th. As he finds it as well, there is enough time for the defuse. Bladestorm's already found. It's just for the round victory in this one, as Wildcard very, very closely do gather it.
Oof. Well done. Wildcard putting all the eggs in the Ninim basket there. Able to pick it up with the Vandals. So it's going to be a tough reinvestment, actually, for both of these teams. Both in a very, very difficult economic situation. Maybe they picked up the wrong crypto today.
Watch this. Let's keep our eyes peeled and see what Ninim is going to be able to do with the Bladestorm in this one. Sicko now 1 away from getting out the Hunter's Fury, tapping on the Frenzy, as IDW is going to send some bullets in return. It's going to be interesting to see if we do get an interview with Wildcard, if they win here, you know, what the choices were for the agent changes in this one specifically. But the sneaky beaky play from Ninim here, he's jumped over the trap wire. It's all going to come down to the precision in timing here, Mitch. When does he choose to go forward? You can see that Greg here is looking for it. If Ninim peeks out at the wrong time, could have his head taken off.
Yeah, Ninim, it's basically just the waiting game right now. You know, they seem to be aware of the flank possibility, but there it is, opening up onto one. Dropping down Greg. Great amount of timing there. Finds the head of Koro as well. Swinging on around. He's throwing a couple of blades, but he got stuck in the tripwire that he actually jumped over. A little bit of a blunder there, but look, the amount of damage he was able to expend just then. We see Sicko go so low here. And now RDW holding that line. This should be a wild card round if they play their timings right. He does swing out, though, a little bit over-aggressive. Noz is there to pick up the pieces, however. Great shots over with that Spectre. Now it's all on to just Lukey. Big task ahead, Swirl to deny it. And 3 members of Wildcard live on. They've got all the weaponry that they will need and slowly making his way towards that Cosmic Divide. Noz only 1 away. But 3 members of Kanga, they do have their ultimates available. And only the showstopper for Wildcard.
Equalize 2-2, big thing on the back of it. Ninim able to get out the operator. Doesn't have those blades to be able to assist though. This time, however, is just going to have to be pretty in toward those shots. But you're, you know, it's always one of the difficult things in this game, right? Who do you kind of look towards to take those frags? There's no GoTV like in Counter-Strike that can kind of just give you the frags on a little bit of a delay. Crash is trying to just be the big brain play and read into everything. So we love him for it. But Ninim just does Ninim things and able to find it and then fall at the end.
Enemy tag.
Sicko to lead in the owl drone as Ninim finds Sicko.
So a weakened offense from Kanga. Trying to creep on out. 4-man stacked up over towards this location. We do have the Astro rotating back in towards Garage. That's the thing. This map, it's so challenging to try and lock down all the different locations. You kind of just have to, you know, work your way around the map, take control of different areas where possible. Frequent holding that line. Clutchy does actually get around the other side of the Nebula, going for the running back now. The ultimates come out from Infrequent though. Does get 2, then quickly traded out. Now Ninim misses the shot narrowly. Clutchy getting up close and personal, obviously a little bit low, but he's vulnerable. It's not going to matter though. Clutchy still getting the job done here. Ninim tries to peek onto it, but it's not a classic, mate. That one's an Odin this time round. And it's all on to just RDW on the flank and by Clutchy's positioning. Will he get caught off or will he find it? Does take him down for 2 HP. It's enough for Koro. And that is a round picked up by Kanga and Clutchy goes colossal.
Clutchy goes absolutely massive in that one. It's a little bit of a funny thing as well with the Phoenix running back, right? Infrequent after this showstopper is able to find 2 with it. Gets out the damage from the Spectre that does end Clutchy's run on the runner back. But in the same exact millisecond, they both shot out the bullets to trade each other. So Clutchy's runner back expires. He's still alive. Can't say the same for Infrequent. And then at the end there from RDW, right position, right time. It's just right-clicking on that Vandal is always a monster to try and contain and can't quite get it in the end. 2 HP to spare as we did see. But off the get-go here, Swirl dispatches of Greg with the Hunter's Fury.
Another pick found by Clutchy here, at least bringing it back to an even Steven 4-4. Recon Bolt, though, does spot him out. He's happy to just sort of lay wait there for a little while. Ninim. Oh, my God. Clutchy churning and burning right now. The man is on a mission, trying to find as many frags as possible. RDW just on the other side of that barrier wall. Lukey, though, going to be taken down by Noz. Did get a little bit sneaky. Good use of the gravity well, but it's not going to be enough. Koro does actually find the frag, trading out onto Noz. And now Kanga, they're at the advantage again. Clutchy looking to siphon off some positioning here. Cutting them off. He will get swung, but it's going to be Clutchy to get another one into the back pocket. Swirl. He's sharp. But will he be able to find the 1 and 2?
Yeah, he really has to back himself here. Going to get not tagged up by the Owl drone, but that's information on at least where Sicko is playing at the back lines. He does have the Hunter's Fury as well, but he's actually a little bit wide on the fact. Doesn't really matter right now. You would have expected him to be right-clicked on toward that Guardian. Single shot to the face. You are out of here as Kanga. They do hold on for another round on the board. And does also send Wildcard into an eco.
So how do they pick this up? It's already really, really good momentum from Kanga. And I mean, look, really, to call Haven anything less than attacking side is certainly a push. But with that being said, it doesn't really end up mattering, I suppose, you know? It's really just sort of how you take it mentally. As we see Infrequent now pushing down towards mid, trying to take that early control of the Rays. Obviously, lots of information gathered over towards long. They're going to get all the audio cues here as they do push in towards this location. But off the back of that, they're just going to be looking to get no. Poor Ninham. Infrequent, though. Good for the trade.
Good for the trade in at the end. Looking for the plant right now as well is Kanga. The run it back will expire at the end. Remember, they do have the Hunter's Fury to rely upon a little bit later on. But look at where this retake is actually being mounted from, right, Mitch? Everyone of Wildcard is coming in from back of A main. Way long in the lobby. Koro finds Infrequent. Koro finds Swirl. Sicko onto Noz, and it's just down to RDW, who has already had his HP taken on down very, very low toward 8. So a single shot will end his reign and put Kanga into the 5th round on this site in Haven, on this map in Haven, on this BO1 to close out the night. They are certainly, trying to find a role here, but that is a nice shot from RDW to at least get some damage known.
He's trying to find some expiring damage, but no one's home. The Radiant will take him down. Remember what I used to call that? Radiante? Sounds like something in an Italian restaurant. Radiante.
All right, so here's the thing, right? And I was on this discussion yesterday with somebody. We all call it Valorant, which is because of the emphasis on the A, you would think that it would be a double L, right? So technically the pronunciation for it is Valorant with no double letters coming in. But Valorant sounds weird, but I kind of think it's funny.
Dude, just let's go back to Project A. Send it back. In Project A, abilities won't change the pace of the game. It will be primarily focused on gun skill and team play. Ray
Rocket, don't get killed!
Yeah. Well, it is going to be Valorant this round as Clutchy does get sent at bay by those paint shells. Infrequent trying to pick up the pace. Ninham, a little while away. They are very split up right now. There's the camera to lock him into position. It's going to be a very, very split situation, of course. Cosmic Divide is up and out right now. RDW at least with one. Koro, though, does find a trade now. The chaos ensues. There's a resurrection. There's frags. Everything's happening right now, but Koro in a position. Can he take down Swell? The answer is no. It's all on Aluki, and the defuse is already there. Unfortunately, it will be Ninham to close it. Wildcard, they're back on the board.
Big old round in the end from Wildcard, maintaining their focus in towards it, getting on the defuse. B site can always be a very strugglesome one in this one, but the flank a little bit too late to come on through to be able to try and do something, and the crossfires from Wildcard do get it done in at the end. Big numbers being put up there, as it does mean. Now, once they're closer to trying to get a little bit of equalization, they will, of course, have to win this round here and see the next one after that, where the money situation for Kanga won't be too great, but they should just be able to scrap in and buy if they really want to deep dive in, maybe have some light shields with some other sorts of weaponry. But for now, we get very narrow focused in toward this one, because again, Kanga, they're going straight up toward the B side to try the same thing. I wonder though, will it work out for them this time? 5v5 on a retake is going to be...
I like that.
I like that. The pace has completely changed for you there immediately, but Ninham is up on top. We're going to find another already Clutchy up close and personal. Ninham does get the damage connecting though. Swirl also good for the one. Same with RDW. It's all in a Sicko. Does connect with the first, narrowly missing the second. And Ninham, he's awake now, ladies and gentlemen. He will find the 4th round for Wildcard. Everything is happening in amongst this B site. The carnage has sort of happened the last couple of rounds now. And only one round apart this time. Wildcard, they've got a bone to pick. Again, we spoke about it earlier. The last time these two teams faced off was actually a very, very one-sided affair. Wildcard have had a couple of early exits out of some pretty high-tier competition in some disappointing fashion. But again, everyone still considers them a premier team. And I understand that they are individually on paper very, very solid players. And I feel like once they find... the potential agent locks on each map, that's when they're going to really push it forward.
And I guess, just to clarify as well, the reason, just while we got a little bit of an eco here, Kanga on the side of caution to not force in completely. The reason why my pace sort of stops was it was really good timing to use the gravity well. You saw that, the spike gets planted as the gravity well starts pulling, so it gets the free frag and brings the spike out into a more approachable scenario where you're not just funneled in for those shock darts to be able to hit you instantly like it would be if it was planted in toward that corner, right? Out the open more, they have to kind of use a little bit more brain for the trajectory of the darts potentially. So I really do like that coordination from Wildcard there with the quick new addition of Noz.
Oh, there it is!
Spike down Attacker spawn.
And the tailwind, just for good measure. What an incredible play from Ninham. So many times will you see that opportunity go begging in a situation where he'll whiff the first shot, but even the road bullet from the end of the tailwind was enough to get it done. So Sicko does get his dart up, information gathered, but now they can just sort of get away from there. He was good for at least a frag on a Ninham, but there's so much more he needs to find. Spike, though, and a Vandal can be recovered. There's a potential chance for a plant here.
Potential plant, 1 versus 3. Does need to make sure that everything is done in order. If he gets the plant and dies, that is a Hunter's Fury available, or if he gets a kill on the back of it, he could potentially try to get out and try to actually potentially just win this round. He's going to get tagged up, clearing everything that he possibly can. He wants to get the plant here, surely. He's got no time to do so, looking for a challenge, and it's going to be nullified in the end as well by Swirl. Slightly different in that regard. 5-5, we tie up. In the end, it was a Nico from Kanga. They get a little bit of damage to be notified in, but this is where things really need to just be, you know, you need to put your foot down in this one. Wildcard, you're on that defensive side. It can be a struggle at times. You got to spread your forces thin across 3 sites. So for Kanga, I mean, if they do go full brutal into it as well, I mean, on that flip, they could potentially find a 6th tier. It's going to be a really entertaining round, this one. I feel it.
Okay, let's get set up.
Well, it's living up to our expectations, just this entire map so far, Dion, right? You know, we sort of said, as is the classic, with 2 very evenly matched teams, I guess you could say, it's either going to be really good, sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe insert profanity. Can't do that on broadcast. This is G-rated. Valorant child game. Completely forgot how that copy pasta goes.
Land. Couch. That's all I'm saying. Noz is going to find Clutchy and Ninham to find Koro. Does put in good stead the beginning shakeups of this round. One thing that I'm just noticing as well, no Sage on the side of Wildcard, but you got one for Kanga. Does lead into some resurrections potentially a little bit later. But they have already lost that possibility in this round right now. Perched on high is Ninham with the op as he finds his second in the round. That's the spike as well, which means everything is going to be onto Lukey and Sicko. See how they're going to navigate things. Ninham, bit uncharacteristic as he misses the blades, but infrequent is there to pick up the slack. And now it's on to Lukey. Needs to be so methodical in his approach to this 1v4 turned 1v3.
Yeah, good opening pick here, but look where the spike is. Still so far away and so much ground he needs to pick up. And Wildcard, they are split, but I guess in good merit. They're not looking to sort of overstep. They're happy to reposition themselves accordingly. And now the fact that Lukey does get into that position is going to be tagged up by RDW. And the old classic stepping around the corner phantom spray, you know, the disgusting thing that we do have to experience. But look, it is in the game. Why not use it? Ninham charging 18-8. He's even managed to silence Clutchy a little bit, who had a very good opening start.
Most certainly, he was kind of just holding W a little bit, wasn't he? Getting in amongst the positions and taking out those aim duels where he was able to best out the forces of Wildcard. We saw it a little bit as well when Kanga were really trying just to attack, focus so in toward the B site, you know, very rapidly getting down that barrier wall, trying to get the plant done. But Noz, I guess on his utility, has kind of stopped them from doing so. That showed that twice the retake comes through successfully from Kanga. So from Wildcard, sorry. So Kanga don't want to go towards B again. And now with Hunter's Fury going over towards this C site, there is a tag that is going to come on through. I do believe I might be too blind to see that, but with all this grouping up around A long, it's going to be Clutchy with the Marshall to find Ninham.
How does he do it time and time again, man? You know, again, with a little bit of work, this guy will be an absolute monster one day. Still is a monster now, but a monster with consistency. RDW, he's consistent though. 3 big frags and neural theft to go hunting for the final member. It is Clutchy at that. And RDW, he wants the 4K pretty desperately. Give it to him at this point. Why not? 4K. And that's Wildcard leading out the half here, Dion, on the defensive side. Now they move into the aggression session on the offensive side.
Big frags from RDW. It has been a hot minute, as I did say, you know, for him to be on a Sentinel that we'll be witnessing, but he certainly is doing what he needs to be doing on that defensive side. But now as things do flip up, you know, what we tend to see from your sort of Cypher and your Killjoy players, the Sentinels in this map, would be those flanking plays, right? So I wonder, are we going to see that come out from him? I mean, we saw a little bit of it done from Lukey, but not too much overly so. Was backing up his team where need to be. But this is where the change of pace might be seen as well. You can see a lot of directive plays be done from Kanga with the slow orbs, with the barrier wall as well. Stop Wildcard from getting too ambitious at a certain area. But this pistol round from Kanga, they only have the Sova over at A and Sicko. The rest of their forces are pushing out Garage over at B, or C, sorry, on that other site. Clutchy. He's already through. That's just Clutchy things.
Just Clutchy things. We could get it trending at this point in time. But look, it's good. You know, I guess when you've got the rest of the team understanding the way he plays, you can always sort of adapt around it. It's like, you know, a player that sort of goes for the solo charge and, you know, eventually towards the end of the game, he's going to be snowballing. So we may as well play around him, not avoid him. RDW, Swirl though, open up on this round. They've already taken the side range shot from Infrequent. Swirl to find another as well, and that's going to be flawless. Just like a diamond that's secured for Wildcard. 8 rounds, leading out by 3 now. Again, they've got a mission. They want to, you know, basically give it back to Kanga. I'm just trying to think as well. It might be something we need to check, Dion. The last... obviously, contest we saw on Haven between these two teams in the fact that Kanga dominated. Was it the same agent lineup? Obviously, we don't have, you know, Wizard. We've got Nas instead. But was it the same? Was it the same?
I'll find them.
No, because Astra wasn't existing then, I believe.
Ah, of course, yes. Absolutely. Wow.
Would have been Omen.
How one agent can change it, right?
Oh, 100%. You just see the beginning stages of this as well. That gravity well over towards the A orb, you have to put another player there to try and contest it. It just changes up the pace, and it's great to see the teams are adopting on towards the Astra agent. Omen still gets picked up. Brimstone not so much, which makes me very, very sad. But for right now, we're going to say farewell to Koro as well as Lukey, as they're down for the count very rapidly. So, Wildcard looking to align a 9th on the board.
Dear, no matter how much you try and make it, Omen is still the Chad, I guarantee you, okay? Blue Boy, go brr.
I like Brim.
It's because you look most like him IRL, right?
I mean, I ain't Chad. I'm a skinny kind of twig.
Don't worry. I'm the opposite. You can have some of my chonk if you would like.
Dude, all I want...
I got a few kilos to give away.
What I want is your food that you cook. Get you to Melbourne.
Soon,
or
brother,
get us
soon.
to New Zealand, and you can cook for all of us.
Oi, potential.
Oi.
I don't know if the Sky Tower has kitchens in the hotel. Maybe. I'll ask for it. I'll get one of those apartment rooms instead. But nah, it's cool to see what we are witnessing right now. You know, Wildcard looking dominant. Noz, you know, quiet, but has at least had the impact. Like, all he needs to do is just, you know, jump up in the astral form, put down the stars, make it work. And there's Infrequent to punish Clutchy. That's the only thing. Clutchy eventually, I feel like it's almost like he gets bored and he goes hunting. He goes,
maybe.
You know, I need to try and make these plays happen. And
I think the biggest thing... Sorry, go on.
No, I was just going to say leaving his team, but... Because that wander up...
I think one of the biggest things for Clutchy is the momentum swing from the kills is really important for him. If he's killing and he's getting all of those frags, it really keeps him focused and electrified in the rounds. But if he's not getting frags, he's getting punished a little bit, it feels like he's in a little bit of a rut that... It almost feels like it's difficult for him to get out of, and that's where the team really needs to come in and back him up a little bit. But speaking of, Sicko, he has managed to find Infrequent. Maybe RDW, nope, just get shouldered on through. Now we do align over towards this site. Very good for one. Noz to trade it on out. Player advantage for Wildcard as they look to get the plant damage.
And look, that's what I mean. It's not the fault of Clutchy, but by losing that opening pick, it was a rifle sent over to RDW. Now has the Phantom Dancer. He swings around from side to side, hitting all the shots he needs. Very, very awkward round to retake. Koro, heal has been expended.
Where does the wall go? Nowhere.
Nowhere.
In him. Catches them in the gravity well. That's one of the biggest things about the gravity well, right? It's for someone playing Astra, and I can't quite remember who said this, she isn't really a smoking agent. Yes, she can get smokes down and everything, but the usage of the gravity well is so instrumental in so many positions. People hardly even use the Nova Pulse unless you're charging into a site where you kind of combo both of them. Using that gravity well at a choke point, like in that specific instance there, right, over towards the entry site to that site, anyone who would be coming through that area gets pulled in. They cannot escape and charge into the site. It is really good for like a double swing or a triple swing out to contain that area. And if they're even combo it with the smoke, if you put the smoke and the grav well there, you just shoot through it with your Phantom or something and it kills as well. So it is a massively impactful piece of utility. That's a big ding too.
Owie hurting a little bit, but at least that's the joys of having the Sage on one side. Coro does find one, make it a no. 1.5. Clutchy. He's actually the man to find a couple here with the Sheriff, and that's what we mean. The impact that he still continues to bring through. But RDW, he sleuthed his way into C-Link. They're aware of it. Checking towards CT. What's he going to be able to find here? Greg spotting it. Oh, he can pick up a whole lot of information here, 1 and 2. Will he clear out Clutchy? Clutchy does have the line. In a position where he's going to be able to find some more. Well, that's it. You're exactly right. Now it's all on to just Sicko in a 1 versus 2. As Sheriff available, Clutchy did so much work, but RDW, very, very well played there. And Noz on the fadeaway. Takes him down with the Astra. Wildcard are looking dominant here. 11-5.
A really well placed out round from them. A little bit of that bonus you could consider as well with the purchase that Kanga had thrown in, but they gave him a run for it, right? In the end, 2 players surviving from wildcard. Noz putting down the star at the right position as well to assist RDW at that location. I'm kind of waiting, I guess, to see the full extent and strategy pool of what players and teams do with Astra, because like something off the top of my head right now is comboing some shock darts with locations of gravity wells, right? Something that you could definitely look to do. So it really just comes down to what those teams do want to throw out later in. And I think the new map that eventually will come out, Breeze, I think was the name, right, is going to really interest me. But Ninim, that is the second time, sir, that all your plays have gone wrong.
Another opener infrequent, but it is a little bit late. 4 on 4. Cruising on up towards this A position. Only just having the one member laying wait, chilling back towards heaven. Happy to rotate whenever needed. But for the time being, still is going to be wildcard. Well and truly ahead of the curve here. Once again, the opportunity is there for them to bring it back, but
is this
Cosmic Divide
the first?
It's going to force them away.
Cosmic Divide.
Standing ahead.
Seconds. Hardly been utilized. RDW on the back of it. Situation where Koro could have found him if it wasn't there. He can no longer do so. Ninim able to jump over that as well. Here comes the barrier wall, and that's going to be go time for Kanga to get in amongst to the side on the retake. The wall is going to fade over as well. There's a showstopper available on the side of wildcard. How does Kanga take this one?
Trying their best, moving on in as quickly as possible. Sicko's done well, but at least it's all on him. Certainly going to be a little bit pressured at this point, swinging around. RDW gives him the opportunity, but Infrequent denies. It's going to be a 12th round for Wildcard, taking it up to the opportunity to close this one. Again, getting their revenge really, really firmly, sending them back into the dirt. Clutchy, despite having a really good run, 18 and 16. Every single member of Wildcard is doing the right thing, but Ninim obviously sitting among his throne, 22 and 11.
Definitely up there, doing what needs to be done. And I think one of the biggest things as well, right? Noz's assistive variety of that util in this game so far. That's what I've been really impressed with right now. The amount of frags that has been found for Wildcard on the back of Noz's util is superb. And for right now, what could be map point, well, it is map point, could be matched on and dusted after this one. And then manages to find that opener as well. So they are on their way.
Frequent, certainly looking to make quick work of it. Koro is actually going for the swing, so putting himself into the position to go away now. So it looks like Kanga have certainly exhausted their options. They've sort of run the gauntlet now. Frequent already up onto the other side. Sicko is only going to be able to find one. And that is going to be the match done here. The final best of one of the evening has been taken out by Wildcard. We did see some entertaining things come through. It was certainly a hotly contested game until Wildcard just decided to run away with it. Haven continuing to prove itself to be an attacking-sided map in the region of Oceania. And obviously, yeah, the VALORANT Oceania Tour, Stage 2, has started off firing right now. As we're obviously in the Round 1 closed qualifier. It's been very entertaining so far.
Yeah, no, most definitely. We had a bit of a close game, or quick games rather, in the very beginning. We had the real close one in the third one. And that one, I guess you could make the argument for an expected scoreline coming on through. Thought maybe it would be a little bit closer with what Kanga were throwing out. But I mean, when Ninim got real hungry for those frags, started to really come on through. And then, as I already mentioned, Noz on that utility as well was quite superb. So good forming to come on through from Wildcard in that one. And again, on a real shake-up of agents, but kind of aligning back to what was a very long time ago for them. It was interesting.
Yeah, I saw in the chat earlier on that it was actually, we had Ninim on the Sage, and I think it was, hang on, I'm just trying to look up a little bit further in the chat. Swirl was Astra, that's right. So it's just, I think they're just trying something different. You know, it just wasn't what we sort of expected from normally. But RDW, he was excellent on the Cypher. I think, you know, we saw super consistency again from Infrequent. Back on the Rays, happy to pop around. And Ninim, obviously a fantastic player on the Jet. That's where he sort of always felt comfort. So, you know, I guess, again, still with that being said, the conversation always is, just because it's a Sentinel, it doesn't mean it can't be played a certain way. Battle Sage is a real thing, by the way, of course. But, you know, and we see Tux and Texter obviously putting up big numbers despite playing on the more supportive agents. So at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. But when you see a player really come into their comfort zone, playing as a duelist, happy to go in first, happy to try and create the space, that's a different story. So for a player like Ninim, his role is the duelist. And obviously he was able to do great work for the team there. And it was there, I guess, in the end, being a pretty one-sided affair.
Yeah, no, 100% in that one. And of course, we do get the interview now coming started for the players of Wildcard. There you do hear it. The guy who is always so electric and always so happy. Swell, mate, how you doing?
I'm good, thank you. Hello.
So, Swell, man, I got to admit, bro, it was a pretty one-sided affair towards the end there. You guys sort of have changed around the agents a little bit. We see you on the Sova now. How is the change of agents sort of slotted in for you guys over these last couple of weeks?
Well, for me on Sova, I'm extremely glad. Sova is it's a great champ for me. I'm a bit of a geek, so I love learning shit. So yeah, Sova's been good. For the other players, I used to play Sentinel, so it's not been a major change for him. But yeah, it's been good overall.
That was good to see the change up when we got into it as well, because I kind of was expecting to not see, I guess, that agent lineup come from you guys, but pleasantly surprised. It's, you know, something that we usually see you not dive in towards was on the Sova, but you certainly did bring everything that you needed to. Ninim back on the Jet there as well, putting up what he needed to. But what I want to know is, Swell, who was leading the charge for you guys tonight in that match?
Nosroldy, we're going to have to give it to him. The IGL, the beast, Nosroldy, filling in for Mr. Travis Scott himself. I mean, Wizard. We call him Travis Scott.
Ralph.
Yeah, Ralph.
The man. Yeah, nah, cool. Oh, that's awesome because, yeah, we were actually having a little bit of a discussion who was at the helm tonight. But, man, look, one thing that we spoke about with Watt before the game that you guys just played was the Wildcard versus Mind Freak duel. That's going to be coming out tomorrow in the best of three, of course. There was some fighting words there, man. You guys argued for the sort of top two, who is the better team. And, man, after seeing tonight, I think you guys might be able to really contest them tonight. What have you got to say about that?
Mind Freak, I do love the management. I do love the players. But, it's a best out of three. And I think Wildcard is the stronger team. So all props to them, all the prac they do. But I think we're pretty strong right now.
Well, for spoilers maybe going into it, and you can tell us, unanswered if you want to, are we going to be seeing Noz back tomorrow as well? And maybe for the rest of this week? Is he, in the team for this stage?
You'll be seeing Nosroldy until, I think, the end of stage 2. So, yeah.
Cool. Well, awesome, man. Well. Look, before we wrap up, is there anything that you want to sort of, say to anyone watching along or any kind words that you need to deliver?
Shout out to my boy, Jessica. Appreciate her. Yeah, that's it. Love you, Jessica.
Fantastic. Absolute legend, mate. Well, there we have had it. Swirl was on the call, and he did give us some cool little fighting words. I'm excited to see that one tomorrow. Obviously, yourself and Pilski will be bringing that towards the action. 2 best threes. It's going to be electric. But yeah, man, like I guess now this is the time we can sort of sit back a little bit and reflect, Dion. Let's break down what we have seen earlier in the evening. Of course, that bracket is going to allow us to have a little bit of vision on not only what we've seen tonight, what we will be seeing tomorrow, and also a reminder that on that channel, we do still have twitch.tv/LPL_Valorant digital cast. This is bringing us through that lower bracket. Direwolves versus Straight Out of the Zoo is going down right now.
Yes, sir. So the recap, we started off with Order and Direwolves. Of course, all these being the BO1s here. A quick one on that one, 13-4. Then on to the next one, Straight Out of the Zoo and Team Bliss, 13-5 over towards Team Bliss. Mindfreak Paradox, the closest one that we had to have of the night, 13-11. A very contested one between those. Wildcard and Kanga, you guys just witnessed it there with Wildcard taking a pretty nice victory as well. So it means that tomorrow we're going to have Mindfreak Wildcard, Order Bliss. And right now, as you've mentioned it, the Direwolves are taking on Straight Out of the Zoo in this sort of lower gauntlet slug that one of the teams will actually be eliminated in as well right now. So we will be sending you guys over there momentarily. But the recap on that one, Straight Out of the Zoo lost on Ascent 13-4, and Straight Out of the Zoo won on Haven 13-5. So it's a big scoreline differences there as they now endeavor over onto Split to close it out and see who's going to be victorious.
But what's exciting, of course, is going to be those premier games tomorrow night. You know, the upper bracket, the upper echelon, where the topper teams have really sort of made their way forward. We did see, I guess, quote unquote, expected results tonight. You know, the favorites were the ones that really did slot on through. Mindfreak certainly got taken to task tonight. You know, we got a great insight from Watt, sort of how they really did start to feel the pressure. You know, they're still beating the teams that they arguably should, but also that doesn't mean that they're, you know, far from perfect. They said they want to try and work on their consistency issues and everything like that. But the rest of it was all relatively one-sided, as to be expected. But it was a great, electric, fun night. The energy's been flowing. It's been super high. And I've loved every single second of it. So, Dion, before we do wrap up the broadcast tonight, my friend, have you got any words you want to say or any final thoughts on the broadcast?
Day 1 out of 4 for the Valorant this week. Day 3 out of 6 for the total casting that we're going to be doing across the LPL spectrum. A big days, that is for sure. Tomorrow is Friday. I'll be with Pilski. A bit of a change of pace. And then we've got some massive days on Sunday or Saturday and Sunday as well. So I'm looking forward to it.
Very much indeed. I'll be joining Dion on this channel, of course, on Saturday and Sunday for the Premier Games. I cannot wait, but make sure you do put Pilski inside your ears. The man is an absolute monster. Big old brain, radiant at heart as well. I do think he insta-locked his way through Jet up there, so good stuff from the man too. So, guys, I just wanted to give a big shout-out again to, obviously, Let's Play Live for putting on this broadcast this evening, Riot for supporting the Oceanic region for doing that as well. It's been a fantastic competition so far. Stage number 2, obviously, as everyone guns for that final gauntlet run towards the Valorant Champions in December. Some global competition again, but we are going to be wrapping it up, guys, and sending it over to Digital Cast and Minimize on twitch.tv/LPL_Valorant. Thank you so much for joining Conk Moto this evening. We'll see you guys all later on, and peace.